And back inside the Syracuse Dome, Syracuse getting ready to roll out their orange carpets. Normally it's the red carpet, but they'll roll out that orange carpet for the Mountaineers of West Virginia. And John Congemi, they won the toss, and they're going to take the football just like last week.
Well, I think they should. I think they want to get their quarterback out on the football field and Greg Paulus, get him comfortable, because he turned the football over a lot last week, and only maybe 2 of them you could hang on Greg, but still the fact that turning the football over, I think they want to get aggressive early in this game. And I think head coach Doug Marrone wants to run the football effectively. If they can, they'll have success.
Josh Leiter with the opening kick, and it's taken at the 10-yard line. It's Collier. No, it's Jones. Jones up over the 30 and dropped just over the 35-yard line. A return of 25 yards, and it's time for number 2 to take the field again. Greg Paulus, the quarterback for Syracuse.
I think Greg's done an excellent job coming from the basketball court at Duke to the football field here at Ernie Davis Legends Field this year. He's done an excellent job of running the offense, and if he can stay away from that turnover bug, he's going to have success today. He's a big, strong guy. I like the way he runs the offense, and he's a true leader at the quarterback position.
DeLon Carter and Antoine Bailey in the backfield behind Paulus, who opens the game under center. This is Bailey over the line of scrimmage, and he picks up 2, maybe 3 yards on the first play. Talking with Doug Marrone about Greg Paulus, he said he's definitely not the type of athlete that'll hang his head.
Absolutely not, and he's been through adverse times on the basketball court, and I think that'll relate well to coming back today and playing the quarterback position.
First play from scrimmage picked up 4, 2nd and 6 for the Orange. That's DeLon Carter in the backfield now. Paulus again under center. Play action looking for Mike Owens, the tight end. He picks up the first down. Nice play action pass for Syracuse, and a gain of 8 on the play. And it's interesting he goes to the tight end because that's where they're really shy this week after losing a couple. Let's take a look at our impact players now, brought to you by the United States Marine Corps.
Well, Carter, the running back, he does a great job for Syracuse, and you can see the 5 rushing touchdowns. Dante Davis, he's going to have to pick up some slack at that wide receiver position. And then Arthur Jones had 2 fumble recoveries last week at home against the Bulls.
See Mike Owens behind Paulus now, lining up as the fullback right in front of DeLon Carter. This is Carter, weaves his way through traffic, and he's dropped just shy of the 45-yard line. As Robert Sands, the free safety, comes up, but not before Carter picks up 7.
Well, this is exactly how Syracuse wants to start this football game. Come out and attack West Virginia at the line of scrimmage. Move that line of scrimmage on the West Virginia side of the ball, and that's all the attitude of head coach Doug Marrone.
You see the starting lineups for Syracuse at the top of your screen right above the scoreboard. Now Paulus for the first time working out of the shotgun. 2nd and 3. Again, they keep it on the ground. Again, it's Carter. Carter picks up the first down and moving the chains. A host of Mountaineer tacklers coming up, making the initial contact. Sidney Glover, a gain of 7 more for DeLon Carter.
That offensive line moving off the football, doing a great job for Carter, who has 5 touchdowns on this young season. He runs very hard in between the tackles, and you love to see that. And I know offensive coordinator Rob Spence very happy with the running backs that he's inherited, and they're doing a great job early.
Carter again. Nowhere to go this time as number 11, Sidney Glover, comes up and makes the stop. With some help from Keith Candy, the redshirt sophomore from Kentucky. A loss of 1 on the play. You know, speaking of Rob Spence, his game plan, excellent game plan last week against the University of South Florida. This week he loses 2 tight ends, Cody Catalina, Nick Provo. And why is that so important?
Well, it's important because Syracuse likes to utilize that tight end, and when they want to run the football, they want to put that tight end next to that tackle and get big on that offensive front and give some room for Carter and Bailey and those guys to run the football behind them. And it's going to be very difficult with one healthy tight end and Mike Owen today, who's already caught a pass, and now coming out of the backfield, left tackle Nick Speller has an injury to looks like his left ankle. So head coach Doug Marrone in his first season as the Syracuse head coach, and he's a guy that I played against way back when in the 80s when he was the center here at Syracuse. He knows how important that offensive line is and that tight end is to that offensive line.
And speaking of centers, Jim McKenzie, the longtime starter, he is out today. So Ryan Bartholomew moved from left guard over to center, and of course you just saw Nick Speller, the left tackle, limping off the field. So Syracuse doing some patchwork up front not only at tight end, but the offensive line as well. Nice fake. This is Collier. Collier hits the left side. And J.T. Thomas comes up to make the stop, but Syracuse continues to move the chains, a gain of 9.
Oh, beautiful call on second and a long, about 2nd and 12. They do a great job. A good read by Bailey, or actually Avon Culver, the tailback. He wanted to go to the right side, but then he lowers his shoulder, and watch him get 2 or 3 extra yards and fight for those yards to make it a 3rd and short situation, a 3rd and 2 situation. So a nice job on 2nd down by the Orange offensively.
Adrian Collier, number 27, the top recruit out of Rochester, New York. Last year, Paulus flushed right, and it's picked off! Picked off down at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be Josh Taylor. He gives up the football. Leisure inside the 30, 20, 15. Driven out of bounds just shy of the 10-yard line, but Syracuse, once again, like last week, moving the ball. And that's the first INT of the afternoon for number 2.
Yeah, and head coach Doug Marone is not happy with his quarterback. That looked like a play set up to flush all the way to the right side and come back and throw a screen play. But West Virginia would have nothing to do with it. They stayed at home on the backside. Watch the backside. Paulus going to the right side, but hanging in the background was 4 Mountaineers, and a great job of actually getting on this football by Lazar, and then he takes it down the sideline. A better effort offensively now turned into a defensive player by Jonathan Meldrum to hold them outside the 10-yard line, but a good job by the Mountaineer defense staying at home on that screen pass. You're going to watch the quarterback, Greg Paulus, flush to his right side and then throw blindly back to the middle of the field where 4 Mountaineer players were at. And they stayed at home. A good job defensively.
Yeah, Josh Taylor, number 94, redshirt sophomore from Miramar, Florida, passed up by the Florida schools, and he was offered some Division II scholarships, and West Virginia offered him a walk-on, invited walk-on, and he is really playing some good football up front.
Well, this was an ill-advised throw back. I know the screenplay was set up, but if nothing's there, you just throw it away. Now the officials are trying to see.
Yeah, the ball looked like it was loose.
Yeah, the ball looked like it was loose. We're going to see if he was down by contact here.
See if his knee touches before that ball comes loose.
Josh Taylor right there. It looked like his left knee may have touched. But the officials look like they're bringing the ball back down to the 11-yard line, so it'll be Mountaineers football in the plus territory.
Leisure with the return. Remember, he ended that North Carolina bowl game with that big INT last December in Charlotte. So here's Jared Brown, the Mountaineers, with their first possession, sitting just shy of the 10-yard line. Swings it out. Noel Devine. Devine cuts it back at the 5. Touchdown, West Virginia. Noel Devine, that's his first receiving touchdown as a Mountaineer. It goes 11, and that is a quick strike for West Virginia.
Well, a quick strike and a quick answer by the Mountaineers. Just an excellent job of the spin move. You're going to see the first one around the 6-yard line right there that runs by Mike Holmes, and then the next spin move gets Devine into the end zone.
Here's Tyler Bittencourt for the extra point, and he drills it through, so he is now 17 of 18 on the air on the conversion. Let's take another look at it, John.
Just a terrific job by Jared Brown throwing that swing pass to outside to the diminutive Noel Devine, who gets in for 6.
Well, Noel Devine, his first receiving touchdown as a Mountaineer. Greg Paulus, 2 touchdowns in each of his last 3 games, but now 6 INTs in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it just hasn't been a good decision on Paulus the last couple of weeks, especially on that screen pass. And then Bill Stewart, he's had issues of his own. He had 4 first-half turnovers against Colorado. So both coaches scratching their head, and you know both coaches are competent offensively, defensively, and special teams. They've been telling both of their teams, listen, we can't turn the football over if we're going to win a close game, especially here at home. You want to get the crowd back in it. They ran the football effectively, and I'm not sure the play call going back to that screen pass after running the football so effectively was the right call in that position.
It's 2 weeks in a row now that a defensive lineman has come up with a pick, and you look at the turnovers, and the scoring has been phenomenal. for the opposition. This is Collier this time. He finds a lane over the 30, 35, 40. Averin Collier inside Mountaineer territory as he returns at 44 yards. He just joined us. Turnover City, West Virginia now. Josh Taylor, an invited walk-on, comes up with the pick. Pat Lazier brings it down to the 11-yard line.
Yeah, and then one play later, Noel Devine takes it in from the 11-yard line. A spin move there, another spin move at the goal line, and 34 of the last 41 opponents' points over the last 2 weeks have come off of turnovers. So that's right on your offense and laying the football on the carpet. And that's something that Greg Paulus will have to turn around, not in a couple plays, but right now. They cannot turn the football over, and they have to control it on the ground to win today.
Mike Owens in the backfield again, along with Antoine Bailey. This is Bailey with the call, hits the left side inside the 45, and we check in with Quint down on the sideline.
Mike, after that pick, Greg Paulus came over, went straight to the phone, talked to offensive coordinator Rob Spence, and then confided in his tight end, Mike Owen. And it was Mike Owen yesterday we talked to, who said he felt that this Syracuse team is just an inch away, that they haven't been beaten physically by anybody, but it's just the mistakes. And you get a sense of here we go again on the Syracuse sideline as they now make a quarterback change.
Ryan Nassib checks in at quarterback now. Nassib, the sophomore from Westchester, Pennsylvania. That's Carter in the backfield with him. And the quarterback draw, design play. Gets down to about the 42-yard line. Speaking of Rob Spence, as Quint mentioned, we asked him yesterday if there's any silver lining whatsoever against the Bulls of USF, and he said, yeah, there's a lot of silver lining. We were moving the football as they were in their first possession, but then they just handed it over.
Well, really, it was a carbon copy of what they did last week. They moved the football very effectively, and there you see Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator in his first season. They did a good job of moving the football. They just couldn't cash it in, and they couldn't settle for 3 points. They have to get down there and score 7 points.
That's Lemon in motion to the bottom of your screen now. Shotgun, Paulus looking left, fires left, and it's a little bit low. Lemon, nice effort, but it falls incomplete. Glover on the coverage, that time for West Virginia. So the Mountaineers, they come in 6th out of the 8 teams defending the pass. And Paulus, as we mentioned at the top of the show, number 3 in the Big East with 231 passing yards a game. Bill Stewart, his second full season as the head coach here at West Virginia. He is a true West Virginian. As Doug Marrone, he said the same thing goes for Marrone. His love for Syracuse runs deep. And he said Marrone's going to really turn this program around. And he said yesterday, hopefully he waits a week.
That's right.
Rob Long, the punt. And looking for that corner. This one's going to hit in the end zone, come back to the 20. I mentioned that last week, Rob Long with a 73-yard punt 2 years ago. He averaged 26 last week against USF. That one goes 42, a net of 22. Back at the Carrier Dome right after this timeout. Today's Big East Network Game of the Week is brought to you by PNC, leading the way. Polaris, see the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicle now at your local dealer. The Principal Financial Group will give you an edge. The 76 Classic Thanksgiving weekend in Anaheim, California. For tickets and travel, visit 76classic.com. And by Papa John's Mega Extra Large 3 Pizza for $11.99. And from Marshall Street here at Syracuse, back inside the Carrier Dome, and number 16, Jared Brown on the field for the second time, but only a second play.
Yeah, and only his 7th start of his career. He's been around for about 5 years now and taking notes from Pat White, and he's just done a great job of maturing into the position at such a rapid pace.
Working from the shotgun, 68% of his passes he's completed. And they give it to the first back. It's number 7, Noel Devine, his first carry. He's up over the 21 to the 23, a gain of 3. Philip Thomas, the true freshman from Miami, coming up to make the stop for Syracuse.
Yeah, Jared Brown, 5-1 as a starter. You can see 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and he's done a nice job of running this offense and keeping the pace of this offense up. He does a good job of getting in and out, getting the plays called, and being efficient.
Averaging 236 passing yards a game. He's carried the football 46 times. They say the last time he was timed, he ran a 4.46. I mean, look at the 6'4", 223-pound frame, 4.46. That's moving.
And then going downhill, he can bring a load with him.
2nd and 7. They come out flinging it. Jock Sanders up to the 30. And it looks like a first down if it spots at the 30. Let's take a look at our impact players now, brought to you by the United States Marine Corps.
Yeah, Jock Sanders just on that reception there, 32, now 33 on the season with 2 touchdowns. And Arnett, the other wide receiver on the outside, 10 receptions and also has 2 touchdowns on the season. And Reed Williams, the big story defensively, had those shoulder problems last year, now has a foot sprain this year, but you can't get him out of the lineup.
1st and 10 for the Mountaineers at the West Virginia 31-yard line. Penalty flags drop. So this one ruled dead before they got rolling. They
look like Josh Jenkins, the left guard, may have moved a little bit on that left side for the Mountaineers.
Jeff McConaughey, the referee of our Big East officiating crew, and Bill Stewart. Bill Stewart really had some high praise for this young quarterback, Jared Brown. Not too many guys hang around for 5 years. This is Devine. Boy, he saw an opening, and he actually tripped at about the 25, so he'll lose some yardage on that play.
Yeah, getting back to Bill Stewart, he talked about his senior quarterback and how he can use the field. He can use all 100 yards of the field. He can go vertically and stretch it and horizontally and stretch it because of his legs and that strength of his right arm.
Actually gained 3, but because of the penalty, I meant to say shy of getting back to the original line of scrimmage. See the West Virginia starting lineups on the top of your screen. That's Devine in motion now with Jared Brown on the backfield. 2nd and 12. Brown looks left, comes back right. Arnett. And a good job that time by Max Suter, the strong safety, coming up to make the defensive stop after a gain of 5.
Well, good job covering downfield by the Syracuse defensive backs, because Jared Brown had all the time in the world to sit back there and try to look for an open receiver, and he had to settle for a check down on the Syracuse sidelines. It was a positive play for West Virginia, but now Syracuse doing a good job of getting in a 3rd and long situation.
West Virginia at 55%, number 1 in the Big East, 3rd down conversions. This is a 3rd and 6. Suter showing blitz from the left side. Here he comes. Brown steps up, fires deep, looking for Starks, and it falls incomplete. Penalty flag back at the 30-yard line in the backfield. Damon Murkison making the start at cornerback. Good coverage that time.
Personal foul, hand to the face, defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Tough break for Syracuse there after the long incompletion.
Yeah, it was a good set of downs for head coach Doug Marrone and his defensive players, and a good job of trying to pressure the pocket, but Jared Brown does a nice job of standing tall. The ball was just behind his would-be receiver, Brad Starks, going down, and it may be right here where we get the personal foul, the hand to the face, that right hand going right into the face of Eric Jobe, the center. And that was called, and that'll give the Mountaineers a 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line.
That was Brandon Sharp, the 2 freshmen from Virginia Beach. He's returning from an injury. There's Devine. He's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. A good pursuit. They're coming up to make the stop, just a 1-yard gain. And let's take a look now at the principal financial group edge of the game for West Virginia.
Well, for West Virginia, I think they need to continue those big plays, those big ripping runs from Devine and big pass plays on the outside, and then they need to stop Mike Williams defensively. If the ball is going to be effective moving down the field for the Orange, it's going to be through Mike Williams.
2nd and 10 after that tackle at the line of scrimmage by Darrell Smith. Play action, ground left. Fires, has his man Jock Sanders. Sanders keeps those legs going, and he goes out of bounds at about the 30-yard line, gain of 17.
Nice play action fake by Jared Brown. You can see everybody getting sucked to the inside. They had a blitz on, did Syracuse, and wide open to the outside was his main target on the outside. Jock Sanders doing a good job of picking him up and putting him down and moving those chains closer to the 32-yard line.
Today's 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Overstock.com. 1st and 10 at the Syracuse 32-yard line. Brown going right down the middle, looking for Starks again, and this one falls incomplete. Mike Holmes and Kevin Scott on the coverage for Syracuse.
That's twice they've tried to go, the Mountaineers have, down the middle of the field to Brad Starks, and both times they've had bracket coverage on Starks going down the middle, so he would have to make a great play to go up and get the football for head coach Bill Stewart and that Mountaineer offense, but Jared Brown gave him an opportunity to do so.
Starks with 12 catches, but averaging over 20 yards per catch this year. Bill Stewart really singing his praises earlier this week. Those big West Lions in motion now. And they keep it on the ground. Devine cuts back and runs right into Mike Holmes, just shy of the 25-yard line. Gain of 6 more for Noel Devine.
Well, Mike, when we talked to Scott Schaefer, the defensive coordinator for Syracuse, he said it's so important this week for gap control. They need gap integrity on the inside. Everybody has to do their job because of plays just like this, bang, and then he cuts it back right into daylight, does Noel Devine. He does a great job of finding daylight and accelerating through the hole. So Syracuse defensively, they need gap integrity and eliminate those big plays on the ground.
Coach Schaefer talking about penetration. They need penetration up front. Brown fires to Jock Sanders, and it's complete. Max Suter makes the stop on a 3rd and 4, shy of the first down. Gain of 3 that time. You know, John, Jock Sanders led the team with 53 catches last year, 7 touchdowns, number 1. The Sporting News preseason publication came out, and Sanders was listed as the biggest underachiever in the Big East. That a little fire.
Little motivation.
Fire. He said, you know what? He doesn't talk to the media right now, and that was kind of like a cold slap in the face. He led the team in receptions and still considered an underachiever. This one from 40 yards by number 40, Tyler Bittencourt. He's perfect, 5 for 5 on the year. And there's some movement up front.
And if that's on Syracuse, that's a first down.
Sides, defense, number 54. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Mikhail Marinovich, the sophomore from San Clemente, California.
Yeah, you're not going to have to look anywhere else but right there in the middle of your screen. You can see Marinovich coming through there, and that's inexcusable on 4th down. And I know that's what the coaches are going to be talking with him on the sidelines. It's 4th and 2. The last thing you want to do is jump off sides and give those Mountaineers an easy first down.
And Bill Stewart just saying that Doug Marrone, he'll get this thing turned around. Hopefully he waits a week. Well, Syracuse throwing an INT early in the first quarter. Returned down to the 11-yard line. Noel Devine took it in for the first score of the game, and now West Virginia threatening again in the red zone. Another penalty flag, and this time it goes against the quarterback, Jared Brown.
Well, the Mountaineer coaching staff was trying to call timeout on the sidelines, and the officials are going to talk about it.
Virginia called timeout prior to the 25-second clock expiring. Timeout, West Virginia. 30-second timeout.
So you look at the Mountaineers as far as, well, their penalties this year, about 7 ball games, 65 yards, middle of the pack in the Big East Conference. You see number 4, West Lions, standing there next to Coach Stewart, 6'8". Thought it was interesting. They moved him more to the slot this year. And very first game, first 4 plays, he catches 2 balls, and then he gets
that issue all through early in this season, and they haven't been able to get him healthy back onto the football field. But he'll be a huge threat for Jared Brown and that entire offense if they can get West Lions that big target in the slot, because all you have to do is get it close to him, and he's going to have a pretty good chance of coming down with the football.
Drive started back at the 20-yard line. Big West Lions number 4 at the bottom of your screen. Noel Devine in the backfield. Devine gets the ball, nowhere to go. His swarm number 32, Doug Hogue, the linebacker, along with 26, the cornerback, Kevin Scott in the backfield, allows a 4.
Well, Syracuse defensively couldn't draw it up any better, and that's exactly what defensive coordinator Scott Schaefer wanted to do. He wanted to create a new line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what they do here on the right side. Everybody coming through, and they're going to create a new line of scrimmage in the backfield for Noel Devine.
Tavon Austin, top of your screen, along with Jock Sanders. West Lions split wide to the left. They keep it on the ground. Noel Devine. Looks like he's running through a maze. Huh? He cuts so quickly. Philip Thomas makes the stop. 4 more yards for Noel Devine.
Well, this is a big down for Syracuse defensively. They jump off sides on the 4th and 2 field goal attempt, and now they have a 3rd and long situation. They desperately need to keep the Mountaineers out of the end zone and maybe hold them to a field goal opportunity, but Jared Brown has other ideas.
Sanders in the slot, twins. To the right. Jared Brown eludes the rush, and he's going for the first down marker, and he's out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. A gain of 13 on the play. And big play for Jared Brown as he picks up the first down. It's 1st and goal now.
Well, Jared Brown was looking around. He did a great job of eluding the pressure right in the middle of the backfield. Doug Hogue had him in his sights, but he's able to elude him. He's so big, he's so strong and powerful. He's able to get away out of the pocket and now move the pocket to the outside. That's the 24th time he's been on the edge for the Mountaineers after he's dropped back, and he scrambles to get a first down inside the 10 at the 5-yard line. So a great job by Jared Brown.
And Scott Schaefer, the defensive coordinator for Syracuse, saying it was hard to simulate his speed and strength. And they keep this one on the ground. That's going to be Ryan Clark, the redshirt freshman. Came in at about 260. Right now they list him at about 228. What do you think, number 32? More than 228?
I think so. I think he's just over 228, but the Mountaineers bringing in some more beef. It looked like Matt Timmerman coming in for the special, or for the short yardage team inside the 1-yard line now. Just a terrific job by Jared Brown, keeping that drive alive, that long drive. Now they're knocking at the door inside the 1-yard line.
After losing Owen Schmidt, had some problems last year on 3rd and short yardage. Now they stack the eye here. It's Ryan Clark with the ball, and he's in for the touchdown. Ryan Clark. His 4th rushing touchdown this year for West Virginia, and suddenly it's 13-0. Doug Marone's on the short end of that score.
Boy, good running, good tough running on the inside. The Mountaineers, while everybody down, looked like Darrell Smith, number 25, had a nice hit right at the goal line, but just too much momentum going forward by the big fullback, Ryan Clark. And as you said, Mike, his 4th touchdown on the season.
Tyler Bittencourt right down the middle. And he's 2 for 2 in the PAT department. And the Mountaineers go 80 yards in 14 plays, 9 minutes and 12 seconds. Ryan Clark, he's a freshman, he's a bruiser, and he's got 4 touchdowns already in 2009. Back in Syracuse today, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, they'll officially name the field here Ernie Davis Legends Field at the Carrier Dome. And number 44, the 1961 Heisman Trophy winner, led Syracuse to the national championship in 1959 with that undefeated season. And speaking of number 44s, I bumped into Jim Brown. He's in the house.
Yeah, saw Jim Brown before the broadcast, and there he is. Yeah, there he is. Just one of the best, if not the best ever, in the National Football League, and quite a lacrosse player while he was here at Syracuse.
Yeah, of course, Quint Kesnick, a 4-time All-American in lacrosse. Quint down on the sidelines today. Jim Brown and Ernie Davis were supposed to be that dream backfield for the Cleveland Browns, and Ernie Davis never got a chance before passing away at the age of 23. Mike Jones at the 5-yard line for Syracuse. Up over the 30. So Syracuse with some decent field position, a gain of 28 on the return. And you look at that scoring drive, though, for West Virginia. It's quick, it's long, it's 9 minutes, and They're just getting it done offensively.
Yeah, 14 plays, Mike, 80 yards, taking 9-12 off the clock, and Sanders had 3 receptions for 27 yards, and that makes head coach Bill Stewart smile a lot easier on that Mountaineer sideline. He gets to pat the officials, he's patting everybody on the back, but Bill Stewart knows when his offense is efficient and they can take the football and drive it and cash it in for touchdowns, that's what they want to do offensively.
LeVar Lovedell in motion, goes into the backfield now, gives to DeLon Carter. Carter hits the right side, gets over the line of scrimmage. It's amazing, Doug Marrone saying that DeLon Carter, his yards after contact have been phenomenal, except it's at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they got to get that football moving north and south and get it going downhill in that running game.
Well, we've played 15 minutes of football already, and Greg Paulus has thrown his 6th pick in 2 weeks. Mountaineers have 2 touchdowns on the board. Second quarter coming up, 14-0 Mountaineers.
Kreutz is one of those young guys to look at history and something to look forward to when you come to Syracuse as such an honor.
Saw the numbers there at the bottom of your screen for the first half. DeLon Carter, in the first possession, they moved it 34 yards on their first possession. Syracuse did before the INT. And Rob Spence says we got to get the running game going. It was going.
It was going, and I thought they had a nice flow to the play call. And, when that screenplay came up, you roll them to the wide side and throw it back into a lot of white jerseys. Nothing but trouble happened in West Virginia State at home. That really turned the complexion early in this football game and the momentum to the West Virginia Mountaineers.
2nd and 5. Carter with the pitch. He sweep cuts it back up, and he's hit by a wave of white jerseys. J.T. Thomas is there, Robert Sands, Reed Williams also in on the tackle, a gain of 4 more. So 9 of the last 2 plays will be a 3rd and 1. Julian Miller also making the stop, number 97, the defensive end.
But the problems the Mountaineers have had with injuries up front with Scooter Berry, their defensive tackle, defensive end, I thought a lot of those guys on the inside like Chris Neal and Josh Taylor and Julian Miller, they've done a nice job of rotating those guys in and those big bodies to take the place of Scooter Berry, who's had a problem of getting healthy with that shoulder injury this year.
Mentioned the 9 yards. I inadvertently said 3rd and 1. It's actually facing a 4th and 1 now as they're going to measure on that spot. Has to be at about the 43.5-yard line.
Yeah. It looks like they're going to be about a football short.
So you're down 14-0. You're in your own territory. Looks like Paulus is going to lead the field. Syracuse fans want to go for it.
Yeah, and Doug Marrone knows, though, he's got 2 tight ends that aren't dressed today, and that's a big part of that short yardage and rushing the football. So, he's frustrated they weren't able to convert on 3rd down, but you don't want to give West Virginia another opportunity here when you're not at 100% with that offensive line and those tight ends in a short yardage situation.
So as they confer over on the sidelines now, number 47, Rob Long, be coming on to punt for the 2nd time for Syracuse. And Brandon Hogan will be the deep back for West Virginia, just inside his 20-yard line. So Greg Paulus, we mentioned, averaging 231 passing yards a game. He's 1 for 3, 8 yards, and an INT so far here this afternoon. Long at about the 32. High spiral kick. Hogan calls for the fair catch at about the 6-yard line. 13:37 to go before halftime. The punt of 51. Let's take a look at the key plays of the first quarter.
Well, first off, we talked about Greg Paulus's numbers, and that's that big interception by Josh Taylor. It was also picked up by Pat Lazar, and he goes down the sidelines to the 11-yard line. 1 play later, just a flip screen out to the wide side of the field from Jared Brown to Noel Devine. He spins into the end zone, and then Brown, 6'4", 223 pounds. He's able to escape the pocket, keep the chains going for Ryan Clark, who goes in for the 1-yard line. So the Mountaineers have taken advantage of their field position and long drives to cash in for 2 touchdowns.
Noel Devine at the 7, and he gets out to the 10, coming over to make the stop. Number 25, Darrell Smith, the middle linebacker. Boy, Smith, the former running back, averaging 9.4 tackles. That's 3rd best in the Big East Conference.
When he's so quick from that middle linebacker position, shaking hands with him after we got down to talk with him yesterday with a couple of his teammates, I felt like my right arm was going numb. Yeah, he's just a strong young man and a great young man.
Very, very impressive. I like what he said about anticipating the running back's eyes and where he's going, because he was a running back at one
exactly.
time. 2nd and 7 for Brown out of the shotgun. Plenty of time, steps up, fires, finds his man Starks. Starks at the 30, 35, dropped at about the 36-yard line. Damon Murkison coming up to push him out of bounds, drop him after the gain of 27.
Mike, that's a perfect example of when you face a quarterback that can elude the first pass rush, really step up into the pocket. Everybody else in the secondary and linebackers freeze and they come forward to the quarterback. Well, that's allowing the wide receivers like Brad Starks to get wide open in that secondary. So the elusiveness and the strength of Brown gets those receivers open.
Today's 1st and 10 line brought to you by Overstock.com. Ball at the 37. Brown, Arnett. Over the 40. A wave of orange tacklers. Ulrich Arnett came in with just 10 catches. Boy, what a bowl game he had against North Carolina. 7 for 93 and a couple of touchdowns. They say the NFL scouts really took notice of him after that game.
Arnett's done a nice job of picking up the slack because Jock Sanders has been that go-to guy.
Trips to the bottom of your screen right now for Brown as he works out of the shotgun with Devine in the backfield. Look at the size of Wes Sanders, or number 4, down at the bottom of your screen. 6'8", 220 pounds, senior. Jock Sanders. Sanders. Finally. Driven down by Philip Thomas. A gain of 16 more for the Mounties. Well, they've got some weapons.
Well, it looks like a harmless play. It's just going to be a wide receiver screen to the wide side. You mentioned, look at the big block on the outside here by that big Wes Lyons. He's 6'8", 220 pounds, and he's able to spring Jock Sanders for another 10 yards. Just a terrific job.
Let's check in with Quint.
Mike, I spent some time with Jeff Mullen, the offensive coordinator of West Virginia, before the game, and his biggest question mark about his quarterback, Jared Brown, is he improving his ability to go through his progressions, to read the defense, to check down? The arm strength's there. He's got great footwork. Is he willing to use his eyes?
Well, his eyes looking and finding another completion. He is now 9 of 10, Quint. And this one is complete all the way down near the 5-yard line. That's Will Johnson.
Will Johnson did a great job of going off the post pattern that was run by Wes Lyons, and then Brown, the play action. You're going to see the post pattern go to the middle of the field and then a wheel route on the outside, and it's wide open. The linebackers and the strong safety cannot get back to Will Johnson. Just a terrific job by Brown in the play action, and then a nice touch pass down the orange sideline.
They pick up 31 on the play. Devine cuts back again, sniffs out that end zone inside the 5-yard line, dropped at about the 3. He is quick. Noel Devine, 7.4 yards of carry.
Well, Mike, the thing you notice about Noel Devine is that he gets into top speed about 2 or 3 steps into his stride. So for the Orange defensively, they really have to get him boxed in, or else he's going to sliver through and make a big play.
2nd down and goal. Clark has his 2nd touchdown. Ryan Clark, that's 5 touchdowns now after the 3-yard plunge. Well, I guess he is the next Owen Schmidt. Whenever they get near that goal line, he's going to get the call.
Well, 32 is going to get the call inside the 5-yard line, and now a huge hole. This Mountaineer offensive line did a terrific job of sealing everybody off. It looked like Doug Hogue had a chance to make a play around the 2-yard line, but Ryan Clark, all 6 foot, 225 pounds, going north and south, gets it done and pushes the score to 20-0.
Tyler Bittencourt, and they're going to set a broken play, fumble the snap, and so they'll come up short. If he would have scored, it would have been a 2-point conversion, of course. They come up short, so it's 20-0 after going 93 yards in just 7 plays.
Well, they go 7 plays, 93 yards, 3 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock. Brown does a great job of getting him inside the 5, and Clark does the rest.
Mountaineers opening up a 20-0 lead at Ernie Davis Legends Field at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York, along with John Kajemi, Quinn Kesnick, Mike Gleason here, and great to have you with us for the Big East Network Game of the Week. Syracuse home again. This is their 5th home game already this season. And West Virginia, this is their Big East opener here in 2009, and they've looked pretty doggone good.
They really have taken advantage of their opportunities on an interception and 2 big drives led by Jared Brown and Noel Devine and some of the guys on the outside. Will Johnson making a big play. Jock Sanders moving the chains. Bradley Starks doing a great job. So Bill Stewart and the Mountaineer staff very happy and pleased with all 2 facets, are really offense and defense. Special teams have done a nice job, although they bobble an extra point opportunity to push the score to 20-0. But Bill Stewart has to be happy with the progress on offense and defense.
Bill Stewart to 9-4 in his first year as the head coach. As we take a look at Mike Jones getting ready to receive the kick. 9-4, they beat North Carolina 31-30. You look back over the 2008 season. Cincinnati, they lost in overtime, but probably had a nice comeback. Probably didn't do enough to win the ball game. Probably I go back to that Colorado game they should have won last year for a 10-win season. Josh Slider with the kick. And Mike Jones at the 10. Mike Jones dropped at about the 27-yard line, a return of 18. So Jared Brown, number 2 in the Big East behind Tony Pike passing. He's been on fire.
He's done an excellent job of moving himself around the pocket. Nice play action fake there, and then he hits the wheel route down the short side of the field to Will Johnson. Just a terrific touch pass down the sideline, but a better job of just play action. Everything nice and smooth, sets his feet, little touch pass on the short side, and just throws it right over Max Suter to get West Virginia inside the 10-yard line, and Ryan Clark to do the rest on the ground. On the day, 9 of 10, 125 yards and 1 touchdown on the afternoon.
Now Greg Paulus goes to work. Play action, feeling the pressure, and a penalty flag dropped as a big Julian Miller was giving pursuit.
7-7, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the holding goes against Tucker Bombach, the right guard, and we're coming back 10 more yards.
And we talked early about the principal keys to the game. Mike Williams, stopping Mike Williams, that was one of the keys for West Virginia. Well, they've done a nice job because he hasn't touched the football for head coach Doug Maroney yet this afternoon, and you have to do a better job of trying to get Mike Williams the football. I know that West Virginia may be rolling the coverage to him, but you have to move him around effectively and get him into the football game.
Doug Marone already playing without 2 tight ends, Cody Catalina, Nick Provo, both out. Their center, Jim McKenzie, is out. And Nick Speller, the left tackle, limped off the field and is questionable as far as his return here this afternoon. Timeout is called, and Syracuse uses their first, so both Syracuse and West Virginia still with 2 timeouts remaining with 9 before halftime here in Syracuse. Next week, the Big East Network Game of the Week, we go to Connecticut as the Louisville Cardinals take on the Huskies. Louisville taking on Southern Miss later tonight. UConn taking on Pittsburgh at 3:30 this afternoon. And UConn, your thoughts on that defense? At the top of the show, I mentioned Darius Butler, Cody Brown, Julius Williams, all gone, and they're still getting it done on the defense.
Well, the defense has been terrific, I think, for UConn, and their offense is doing just enough. With the loss of Brown in the backfield, I think Andre Dixon and Jordan Todman have done an excellent job of filling in, 2 guys to fill in for Donald Brown, but he's doing a nice job of mixing the run and the pass, and they've had some injuries at the quarterback position, but that defense, as you said, Mike, has been there and been the backbone for them.
Mentioned Cody Brown gone. Lindsey Witten leading the Big East with 8 sacks now this year. 9:44 to go here in Syracuse. 20-0 West Virginia, riding a 7-game winning streak in this series. It started back in 1945. Jeff McConaughey, the referee, resetting the clock here at the Dome. Greg Paulus looks over that 3-3-5 defense. Get your thoughts on that 3-3-5 right after this play, John. So pump fake, Adrian Collar gets the call, not too much running room. Doug Marone said it's kind of the equalizer. It's like getting your defense to get ready to play the spread one week and the option the next week. Your thoughts on the 3-3-5?
Well, identification is the biggest thing for head coach Doug Marone and his offensive line, of making sure they get a big body on a big body, because they can bring those linebackers and those defensive backs down, especially when you're short with your tight end. You have to go a lot of forward wide, a lot of spread, and that causes identification problems in the pass protection.
Second down for Paulus out of the shotgun, and a long way to go for the first. DeLon Carter, who is stood up by number 30. That's J.T. Thomas. And the crowd didn't like that call. A gain of 1. West Virginia fans have spent Thanksgiving weekend with Coach Huggins and the Mountaineers at the 76 Classic in Anaheim, California. For tickets and travel, visit 76classic.com. Basketball season is just around the corner. Syracuse getting ready for the Midnight Madness next week here in the Dome. Third down for the Qs. Third and about 26 miles to go. Paulus. And he's going down just shy of the 20. Beyond a punt again for the Qs. And you hear a trickle of boos. There's Julian Miller out of Columbus, Ohio. Boy, goes about 251. They say in a couple of years he'll be playing about 275, and he's going to be an animal.
And that's going to be scary because this is a guy who really can rush the passer and an athletic kid. And for Syracuse, you know, second and third down and long has not been one of the things they were looking forward to do today against this Mountaineer defense. They wanted to win on first down with that running game. They did that early, but the turnovers again hurt them.
Long at about the 9-yard line. Here's the punt. And Hogan takes it. And he runs right past the tacklers. Hogan slips a tackle. Still on his feet. Inside the 10-yard line, Brandon Hogan came up. And I think he surprised the punt coverage team by taking that punt and just taking off.
Hogan definitely wanted the football on the punt return because he took it away first from one of his own teammates.
Jock Sanders.
Yeah, it looked like Jock Sanders was saying, I've got this one, Jock. You take a break, and I'm going to go down the Syracuse sideline, break the tackle of Rob Long, and then get it inside the 10-yard line down to the 9. But just a terrific positive play by Brandon Hogan, and just been big play after big play for West Virginia to really cut this field in half. 23 plays of 20-plus yards, and 7 resulted in touchdowns.
38-yard punt, a 50-yard return by Brandon Hogan. Puts the ball at the 9-yard line, so first and goal. And they keep it on the ground. And Jock Sanders sneaks into the corner. And no signal. There's the signal. Touchdown, Jock Sanders. That's his 10th carry this year. His first rushing touchdown to go with 2 touchdowns on the receiving end.
And that's something Mikey can't coach, and that's speed. Jock Sanders, he's moving his feet in that backfield. Right there, that little lateral jump step move to the outside. He gets the stiff arm on the outside as well on Scott. And then he tiptoes and dances into the end zone for the Mountaineers touchdown.
Yeah, great body control as he got just inside that pylon. Tyler Bittenkirk on for the PAT and right down the middle once again. So he drives another one through the uprights, and as we take another look at Jock Sanders scoring.
Jock Sanders does an excellent job of just jump cutting to the outside and then bursting to the pylon for 6.
Doug Marrone thinking we are better than this. 27-0 West Virginia. Let's check in with Quint.
This is the 5th home game for Syracuse this year. Attendance is up. You got a new coach, Doug Marrone. You got a local hero, Greg Paulus, playing quarterback. But for the first time this year, in this second quarter, you kind of sense a negative tone here in the Dome. Fans booing their quarterback and their team. Deflated atmosphere is the best way I would describe it. A late arriving student section, maybe an early leaving student section as well.
All right, thanks. A good point, Quint. They average about 41,500 this year, which is up from last year, as Quint said. Stadium holds about 49 plus. But the defense, too, has played so well, or at least so fast, it seems like they've lost a step, or maybe West Virginia has too many weapons. I'll get your thoughts on that after the return by Mike Jones here at the 9. Jones up over the 25-yard line. Defense, are they stunned that West Virginia too many weapons? It doesn't look like the same Syracuse defense.
Well, it all scripted perfectly for the Orange coming out. They have a nice drive going, running the football, good kick return, and then the turnover bug again. You know, the interception on the screen pass that really turned this tide early in the game. And the miscues today. 1 interception, 2 key penalties on 3rd and 10. You know, you jump off sides and on a 4th and 2, and you give West Virginia new life, and they go in and score a touchdown. So it's been self-inflicted wounds that really have hurt the Orange the last couple of weeks.
Greg Paulus named the starting quarterback, 8 days in camp. Starts the next drive, swings it out. LeVar Lobdell. Both played at Christian Brothers Academy here in Syracuse. A couple of high school teammates that won a state championship. Pat Miller comes up to make the stop, but not before the Q's picks up 14.
And that's one of the plays that they used early in the game, and they hit tight end Mike Owen to the wide side of the field. This time they go to the short side and get Lobdell the football. So a good job of getting outside. A good play call that time by Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator, on 1st down. Now let's see if they can create and build on that 1st down play.
6:46 to go before halftime. We've yet to call the number 1, Mike Williams, who had 13 catches last week. And this one's down by the turf. That's number 7, Dante Davis, a loss of 2. So they completed the ball. It would have been better off as an incomplete pass.
Yeah, one of those that you wish you would drop on the outside, because Davis does make a good catch on a low throw on that wide receiver screen. Paulus needs to do a better job on that play, maybe of setting his feet instead of continuing to retreat. Plant that back foot in the ground so he can get a little bit more zip on that football outside.
Rob Spence, he said yesterday that he'd be shocked if West Virginia didn't pay extra attention to Mike Williams. Here's Williams' first catch. And a little stutter step, just shy of the 45-yard line. Mike Williams comes in number 1 in the Big East. 8.2 receptions a game. 5 on his first reception.
Well, that's a guy who's a competitor. He will go up and get the football and challenge any defensive back, and you can see the yards receiving per game, and that leads the Big East and 5th in the country. So Mike Williams getting it done in 09.
Antoine Bailey and Carter in the backfield. That's Lemon in motion. Paulus looks left, fires it, and it's incomplete. Looking for Antoine Bailey coming out of the backfield. Saw number 11, Sidney Glover, coming over, and he was building up some steam. So I think if Bailey would have caught that ball, he would have paid the price.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a 1st down, and I think the timing of that route was off. It looked like Greg was looking to the right side and then got to the wide side late. And anytime you get to the wide side late, you're going to have those defensive backs close the cushion, and that's exactly what happened on that 3rd down attempt.
So Rob Long now, he'll be punting at about the 35 by the time it leaves his foot. Brandon Hogan just returned a 50-yarder, calls for the fair catch at about the 10-yard line. 45-yard punt for an Ernie Davis Legends Field at the Carrier Dome. More on number 44 when we come back. All season long, Champion Apparel will be showcasing the tradition and history of the Big East Conference. And today, we take a look at number 44, Ernie Davis. Ernie Davis leading Syracuse to the national championship, beating Texas in that national championship game down in the Cotton Bowl. And then 2 years later, in 1961, the recipient of the Heisman Trophy here at Syracuse. West Virginia, 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. 27-0. The Mounties on top of the Qs. They've won 7 straight in the series. And speaking of the 1959 or 1961 team, and these two teams playing for the Ben Schwartzwalder Trophy. More on that coming up at halftime. They keep it on the ground, and well, Devine. Well, he runs low to the ground, doesn't he?
He really does. He's so quick and he's so elusive when he gets in the open field, just like these guys for Syracuse when they were wearing the jersey of 44. Jim Brown, and you can see the years 54 to 56, and Ernie Davis and Floyd Little. 11 guys have worn the number 44 since 1954. And the last, Rob Conrad.
Every one of them. Dan Conley, who was an outstanding, he made the All-Century football team as a linebacker here. He's a linebacker coach for Syracuse right now as Brown rolls out. There's Tyler Urban, the big tight end. They say he's going to be all-world by the time he's a senior. Last year, he had 4 catches, 2 went for touchdowns.
Yeah, this is a guy that head coach Bill Stewart is really enamored with, and you can see him giving him a pat on the head saying, good job, young fella. The sophomore out of North Huntington, Pennsylvania, after the play action. Watch him go up and get this football. You can see Brown's speed to get to the outside, but great concentration because he knows Max Suter is waiting on the outside to deliver the big hit.
Urban picks up 13 on the last play. You remember the Will Johnson 31-yard completion down the near sideline. There's Brown over the middle. That's Ulrich Arnett over the 30-yard line. I was going to say I hesitated on that 31-yard call to Will Johnson because Urban is the all-world guy, and Will Johnson, that was only his third catch this year.
Yeah, it's a good combination. It's a good blend that West Virginia has at the tight end spot, at the wide receiver spot. They have a multiple set of guys that can really do different things, and they utilize those skills to perfection.
3:38 to go. Brown 11 of 12. And he looks for the young freshman Tavon Austin. That would have been his 6th catch of the season. And I started the story about number 49, Dan Conley. He came in, and he was a pretty highly recruited linebacker coming in. And he told the equipment guy when he asked for his number, he said, "I'll take number 44." They just laughed at him. They said, "No, you're not going to get number 44." He wore number 49 and wound up being one of the great linebackers here. Conley, the linebacker coach for Syracuse. 3:32 to go. 3rd and 5 now for Brown and company. Twins, the top and the bottom of your screen.
They've got man coverage. I would be surprised if they didn't try to take a shot downfield here.
Plenty of time. There's Wes Lyons, his first catch. He's up over the 45. First down, West Virginia. A gain of 15 on the play. Mike Holmes making the stop for Syracuse. Lyons 6'8".
Great job of coming on man coverage, either like crossing routes or what happened there. Wes Lyons comes from the short side of the field, delivers the blow at the end there to Mike Holmes on the reception, but from the short side of the field, crossing routes are a great way to take advantage of man coverage.
Just the 6th catch this year for Wes Lyons. Bill Stewart said if he was healthy, he should be getting 5 catches a game. Brown fires it. Tavon Austin. He's got some wheels. Austin run out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Gain of 15 on the play. Let's take a look now at the Big East leaders, brought to you by PNC, leading the way.
And the way Jared Brown's going today, it looks like an easy day at the office. You can see Tony Pike at yards per game almost at 300, but Jared Brown almost at 330 at 326. So, or it should be 226 there on the graphic, but he may be well on his way to getting closer to 300 after today.
No, that's why I thought the graphic said that. I thought it was just kind of teasing us because he is having a whale of a day. The 5th-year senior out of West Palm Beach. Well, you saw Tavon Austin with that last catch, too. Here's Devine with some speed, the spin. Chris Beatty, one of the assistant coaches, says Austin's not as thick as a Steve Slayton or Noel Devine, but he's shiftier and a lot quicker with the football.
And he looked like he had that burst on the outside once he caught the football, and that's a guy that's got plenty of burst. And that's Noel Devine. He does such a great job of making small plays into touchdowns. Brown on the afternoon, 13 of 15 for 174 yards and 1 touchdown, and he's making it look real easy, hitting 7 different receivers.
Yeah, he's spreading the wealth here today. A little pump fake, looking deep, and he goes deep for Arnett, and this one's almost picked off. And that's number 26, Kevin Scott, the junior from St. Thomas Aquinas out of Fort Lauderdale.
Brown trying to go to that pump fake and getting a big play from the 35-yard line on 2nd down, and Scott had nice position on the outside. Just a good job of pressing that edge, and Jared Brown back to his numbers, 13 of 16 for 174 and that touchdown.
You look at the turnovers against Auburn, where they turned it over 5 times. Without the turnovers, you wonder how many points this offense can put on the board. They come in averaging 33 points on the year. Brown fires over the middle. A little miscommunication with Jock Sanders that time. They were 2 of 3 on 3rd down, so now hitting 50%, 2 of 4. And that's going to bring up a kicking situation. Inside, do you try for the field goal?
Well, it looks like Bill Stewart's calling that field goal unit here, possibly. I think you do. Be around a 52-yarder, maybe?
52-yarder, yeah. Minute 41.
The punting unit, sorry, Mike, the punting unit is coming out, so I'm 0 for 1 today.
Well, Scott Kozlowski says it's about time I got a chance to kick the football. Highly recruited coming out of high school. Never did beat out Pat McAfee. And now the 5th-year senior getting his first chance to punt this year, and he comes in averaging 48 yards a punt. And this one, if it bounces, no, great job. Great job down by the goal line, keeping it in play. That's number 17, Kent Richardson, on that punt coverage team. A 34-yard punt, and now Syracuse has a long way to go, about 99 yards to go. Coming up on the Big East Network halftime report from Jimmy's Corner. John sits down with Jared Brown, the quarterback. Quint Kesnick on Q points. Hauls the Ben Schwartz Walter Trophy all over town. And we'll have our Big East breakdown as we take a look at the blocking and the great vision and cutting ability of number 7, Noel Devine. It's all coming up on the Big East Network halftime report in about 91 seconds.
I know Quint's sore today because I held that trophy yesterday. It's about 50 or 55 pounds.
It was heavy. DeLon Carter lined up deep in the end zone now as they just try to get some breathing room so Long can punch it out. There's DeLon Carter keeping those legs going. He's out to about the 3 or 4 yard line.
Second charge, timeout, West Virginia. This will be a 30-second timeout.
West Virginia uses up their second timeout, the 32nd timeout, with 1:22 to go. And don't forget, coming up next week on the Big East Network Game of the Week, we head for Hartford, Connecticut. The Huskies of UConn taking on the Louisville Cardinals. Huskies with their Big East Open. Heinz Field this afternoon. Louisville taking on Southern Miss, an All-Conference USA matchup. That's coming up Saturday, October 17th at noon Eastern right here on the Big East Network. Louisville Cardinals, well, 1-3. They could certainly use a victory against Southern Miss this afternoon. And John Dempsey, though, getting done on tackles, like 11.3 tackles a game. That's number 1 in the Big East.
Yeah, this Louisville team needs to find some stability at the quarterback position. They've tried a couple of different guys early in this season, and they need to pick one and go forward with one. And maybe I think that's what head coach Steve Kreckler is trying to find out. Will one take the reins and take us to a couple victories?
Burke was banged up for that Pittsburgh game, and Froman, I thought he handled himself pretty well against Pitt. Of course, the roof caved in the second half, and Bill Stahl and that Pitt offense took over. But now Greg Paulus would like to take over. He swings it the far side of the field. That's Mike Owens with his second catch. Gain of 6. Mike Owens out of Riverhead, New York, a 5th-year senior, 6'4", 251. We talked with him yesterday as well, and he's very unselfish. He's accepted his role as a blocker, but he said, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing the ball once in a while.
He's got it a couple times today, you know, and he's one of those guys. Anything you want me to do, coach, just to win the football game, and that's what you like to build. You build character that way, and you build winning football programs that way.
19 catches last year. He's got 7 now in the season. Penalty flag.
Offense, number 66. Third down.
So a false start will push Syracuse back deeper into their own territory. And coming up at halftime, they will officially name this Ernie Davis Legends Field. And look at Jim Brown made the trip back to Syracuse. And, well, I'll tell you, they don't come much better than Jim Brown. I mean, Ernie Davis, a super person, a great running back. But Jim Brown probably very easily could have won the Heisman Trophy back in the late 50s when he carried the football. There's Larry Zonka.
Yeah, greatest player ever. There's a huge argument there, and you couldn't be wrong by taking that side of the equation.
Looking for Marcus Sales this time. It falls incomplete. 4th down, minute 13 to go. So West Virginia will get the football again, John, and again with good field position.
That's exactly what West Virginia wanted to do. They used that timeout after the first down run, and Mike Owens goes out of bounds on 2nd down, incomplete on 3rd down. So the Mountaineers are going to get excellent field position with around a minute to go to try to push this lead and extend it past 27-0 right now. The Orange reeling in this first half.
Well, again, Jock Sanders and Brandon Hogan are the deep men for West Virginia at about the midfield stripe, and you can see where Long will stand just inside that end line. High kick. This time it's going to be Jock Sanders at the 46. Sanders gets a block, and he trips and falls at the 40-yard line. Anthony Wood threw the block, and Jock Sanders slipped and fell. Let's go downstairs now with Quint, who's standing by with Jim Brown.
Yeah, we are joined by the number 44, greatest football player of all time, here to honor Ernie Davis today. What was special about Ernie?
He's just a special human being that attracted all people He crossed all cultural lines, and he's what you'd call a good guy with great athletic talent.
You experienced similar challenges. What were those challenges when you were here at Syracuse, and the same one that Ernie faced?
Freedom, equality, and justice. We were all fighting for that, and the country was moving towards it. The Heisman Trophy became the symbol of it in football, because Ernie was the first African-American to win that trophy, and it was a struggle, but it was worthwhile because it made all of us better men.
What's important that these young athletes understand about Ernie Davis?
That he is a great athlete, but he's also a great student and a great human being, and that he had quality of life, which is what you should achieve, not just money and fame.
When you think of Ernie, back in the late 50s and the early 60s, 61, for instance, what are the memories that you have of him?
Well, I think the championship game, national champion, and when he said goodbye and went to the hospital, was the last time I saw him. Those two things.
Tough memory.
Yes, it is. You know, yeah, they're kind of tough. He's a great human being.
Jim, last thing, 44 hangs up here in the rafters. Are you in favor of athletes wearing Ernie and your number in the future, or do you think the jersey belongs up in the rafters?
Oh, that's politics. I don't really care. I work with the chancellor and I work with the athletic director. Darryl Gross is a good person. He wants to do the best for the university, so it doesn't matter to me.
Jim Brown, thank you.
Follow my directions.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. They'll celebrate Ernie Davis here at halftime, Mike.
Thanks, Quint. Nice job. Great point that he was leading to. I mean, Ernie Davis did so much for racial barriers, but Jim Brown probably paved the way also back in his day, because he was in the 50s. 25 seconds to go, 3rd and 17. Saw during the interview that Arthur Jones picked up the sack, and they've got another one. This time it's Hogue, Doug Hogue, picking up his 2nd sack of the season.
Really, the first time in this, or the first time in the half that Jared Brown's been pressured in the pocket. You said Arthur Jones gets the first one, and now Doug Hogue comes from that linebacker spot around the tackle box and is able to bring Jared Brown down.
Yeah, it's the first time that West Virginia had numbers like 4th and 26, but time will expire. So Kozlowski won't get his opportunity for a second punt of the afternoon. And John, your thoughts on the first 30 minutes here from the Dome?
Well, it started really well for the Orange running the football, but those turnovers came back with that interception. That turned the tide for the Mountaineers.
Well, Jared Brown has been on fire. They scored on the very first play from scrimmage, a touchdown pass to Noel Devine, and the Mounties on top, 27-0, halftime coming up after this timeout. Welcome to our Big East Network halftime report, what is now officially known as Ernie Davis Legends Field inside the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. The Mountaineers and Orange halfway through their 60-minute battle, so we head down to Conjemi's Corner. And this week, Jared Brown from West Virginia made his way to the corner.
Today on Conjemi's Corner, I have the pleasure to be with West Virginia starting quarterback Jared Brown. And just to say West Virginia's starting quarterback, I mean, it's got to make you feel elated inside.
Yes, I've been excited to take this role. I think we've been doing a great job so far. Just me trying to be a leader and lead this team. It's been fun.
Jared, Pat White was known as a quiet leader. On the field, are you more vocal or are you more like Pat White, a quiet leader?
Well, I'm a quiet leader, but I think it's natural to be in my position as a quarterback. I'm gonna have to be vocal because the team looks for me to bring that energy and, show them the right direction.
Jared, describe your attributes as a quarterback.
I was always big for my age.
Yeah.
Even on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Pretty tall to be on the football field. I played tight end, linebacker growing up, and finally they moved me to quarterback.
Did you always want to be a quarterback, or was that something that just came by chance?
Just came by chance.
Well, I can start with Noel Devine. I can go to Jock Sanders. I can go right down the line. You've got a lot of weapons at your disposal. A lot of different guys, some big, some small, but you get your weapons, the football, very effectively. Can you talk a little bit about what you have behind you and to the right or left of you?
Well, as a quarterback, that's that's something you dream about in a spread offense. You know, you got Jock in a slot position who also plays running back, who is great for yak yards. You got your downfield threat with Bradley Starks and Eric Arnett, and you also have Wes Lyons, who also is 6'8", who's good for great possessions that you need. And Noel, you hand the thing off and he's out of there.
The good thing about having a back like that is you never know when he's going to hit that home run. You know, he can go 3 yards, 2 yards, and all of a sudden he goes 80 and it's 7-0.
Yeah, you never know, and that's a great thing about this offense.
Yeah, you spread them out. You guys do a great job of distributing the ball to everybody, so it makes it hard on defenses to really account for that and then to account for your running ability as well.
I didn't even think about that.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, to remind you, you can run the football and throw the football. And I just want to say thanks for coming on Kinjemi's Corner today. I wish you nothing but the best. A fellow Floridian down from West Palm Beach going to Morgantown.
Yes, sir.
Doing a great job.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You got it.
So that's why you're here, to remind him he can throw and run.
Have to remind him, absolutely. He can throw it, he can run it, he can do it all at the quarterback position.
As a former QB, what stands out about his play?
Well, I think he's not afraid to push the issue, Mike. I think he's, runs the football very effectively, but he has such a strong arm. He can throw the football anywhere on the field. He can spread you vertically, horizontally. He's not afraid to take a chance, and that makes all good quarterbacks even better.
Now, every week, John will be writing a column to preview our Big East Network Game of the Week, and just go to ESPNplus.com. That's ESPNPLUS.com. And nice picture, John.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll shift that spotlight over to Quint Kesnick. Quint, what do you have coming up?
Going in from 1 yard out. And West Virginia just had all cylinders going on offense. A nice touch pass to Will Johnson, and then a kick return, which was a beautiful kick return. Very aggressive by Brandon Hogan to the short side of the field, and that set up another touchdown by the Mountaineer offense. They just could not stop the speed on the outside of the Mountaineers. If it wasn't Noel Define, it was number 9, Jock Sanders, scoring for the Mountaineers.
And you look at the numbers, Noel Devine averaging 135 a game. He only has 29, so Jared Brown in that right arm of his, that's the big story in the first half.
It really was. He did a great job of setting in the pocket. You can see the total yards, 223 to only 77. First downs, 12-3. The average starting position and the red zone productivity of the Mountaineers, 4 for 4. They were a perfect 100%.
77 yards of total offense, as you mentioned, for Syracuse. So what does Doug Marrone tell his team at halftime? Because, again, we mentioned the fact that Paulus is averaging 231 passing yards a game.
Well, the first the Syracuse Orange really had poor field position to start with. They have to cut the field in half and get a quick score either on special teams, interception of their own, a fumble recovery. They have to do something to generate some crowd excitement and get back into this football game.
Syracuse won the opening toss. They decided to take the football to open the game, so West Virginia will open up the second half. Rob Long's kick to Brandon Hogan inside the 5-yard line. Hogan cuts it back over the 15 and dropped at about the 17. Dropped shy of the 20, a 16-yard return. Let's go downstairs with Quint.
Mike, I spoke to a stoic Doug Marrone as he left the locker room to start this third quarter. He's not exactly waving the white surrender flag, though. I tell you, I asked him what the expectations were for this third quarter. He says, stop him right here, as John said, get the ball back, score, and get back into this game. I asked him, how did you in that first half? He said, truthfully, you got to just tell the kids the truth. Improvement, you can't hide from improvement. And he's got that no-nonsense approach that, ultimately could be the right fit here in Syracuse.
Well, Quint, he's got 14:54 to go. Score 4 touchdowns. And make West Virginia haunted for missing that extra point. This is Ulrich Arnett in the first play of the second half. It almost picks up another first down for West Virginia. Gain of 6 on the play, and you look at West Virginia's first half drives. First one, that very first play, goes for a touchdown after the INT. And then 80 yards, 93 yards, and they're getting it done offensively.
Yeah, 2 of those 5 drives, 1-play drives. So West Virginia very efficient when they had the football in the plus territory.
Kickoff return, I said, was Brandon Hogan, was Mark Rogers, so I apologize to West Virginia fans. Hogan 22, Rogers 23. 2nd and 3 now for Jared Brown. Swings it out. Jock Sanders picks up the first down. And he's still on his feet up over the 35-yard line. Great balance. Sanders going 5'7", 178 pounds. A gain of 11.
Yeah, a little help from his friends on the outside. Earlier in the first half, he got a nice block by Wes Lyons. This time, Brad Starks on the outside doing a terrific job of blocking downfield. And this is what you have to do if you're a wide receiver at West Virginia. Block downfield on the outside, and that'll give your playmakers a little bit more time to pick up yards.
Jared Brown swings it out in the flat. Noel Devine cuts it back. And a good pursuit that time by Syracuse. Short gain, Andrew Lewis making initial contact, the defensive tackle for Syracuse. And Scott Schaefer saying he'd like to see about 7.5 helmets on that ball every time. Yeah, and the QB comparison in the first half, it really wasn't nothing to compare. Greg Paulus only 5 for 9 for 30 yards in that one interception, but Jared Brown 17 of 21 for 197 and a touchdown. Brown opened the game just shy of 68%. 2nd and 9. This one's complete. Tavon Austin, the true freshman, brings it in for the catch. They say he's a combination of Jock and Noel. Doug Hogue making the stop, number 32, the Sam linebacker for Syracuse. And the Mountaineers right now, Mike, instead of running the football, they're running it through the air. Very controlled passing game, screen plays, quick outs to the outside. They're going to bring the big guys in now on 3rd and short. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to fake something here, or if they do keep it on the ground, go for something big after they get the first down. Now they're going to go play action, and they swing it out. And it's going to be another first down, and still on his feet is number 32, Ryan Clark, who already has 2 touchdowns, and he put the ball on the carpet. We'll find out. Yes, Syracuse has the ball. So Syracuse coming in at -1. Max Suter picked up a fumble on the carpet last week and gets another one here this afternoon. That's one that you're going to look back on tomorrow, and Bill Stewart, the head coach for the Mountaineers, is going to tell Ryan, you did a great job. You got the first down. You know, you're trying to get a couple more yards. It might be better just to take this initial hit and try to go down on the carpet, because his 2nd and 3rd effort really lends to the stripping of the football by Kevin Scott, who comes in from the secondary, strips the football away. Might have been Darrell Smith in there for the strip. Anyway, change at quarterback for the Orange. Ryan Nassib in that quarterback for the 2nd time today. Last time I was out of the shotgun, did a quarterback draw, hands off to DeLon Carter, and he cuts it up. He's inside of West Virginia territory after picking up 5 yards. There's Nassib, 6'3", 215-pound sophomore out of Pennsylvania. His dad was a college quarterback back in his day at Delaware. Well, Ryan has a tough task ahead of him, down 27 points, but they have great field position now. He doesn't have to get them all back in one drive. He just has to get points out of this drive, and he'd love to get a touchdown with great field position. Nassib working out of the shotgun this time with twins. The bottom of your screen, number 1, that's Mike Williams. He had 1 catch in the first half. A little pump fake. Nassib fires, and he had his man, and it's incomplete. It's Antoine Bailey, the sophomore. It was a catchable ball, but it would have been a tough catch. It would have been a tough catch, and sometimes as a quarterback, you get into a game coming off the bench, you're excited, and you want to, after the pump fake, you want to just drill the football down the field, and the ball was very catchable. And if you had a wide receiver going down the field, you might say that's an easy catch, but you've got a running back, and the ball's a little bit behind, so the running back really would have had to idle his body down to catch that football. But a little bit more accuracy or out in front, and that may be 6 points. And Nassib facing his first 3rd down situation, 3rd and 6. And he's going to call a timeout. Didn't like what he saw with that West Virginia defense. And he's going to come over and talk things over with Doug Marrone. He'll check upstairs in the booth with Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator. Nassib, the young man out of Pennsylvania, came into the ball game. He only had 5 attempts, but hit 4. 4 for 5. So with timeout here at the Carrier Dome, we're going to step away and use up one of our timeouts. 11:54 to go in the 3rd quarter. 27-zip West Virginia. Welcome back to the Big East Network Game of the Week, presented by PNC. Inside the Carrier Dome, 27-0 West Virginia on top of Syracuse. Along with John Congemi, Quinn Kestic, Mike Gleason here. Great to have you with us on the Big East Network Game of the Week. 27-zip. Ryan Nassib in at quarterback, facing his first 3rd down situation. Greg Paulus 5 for 9, 30 yards with a pick in the first half. It'll be interesting to see if he's done for the day, John. Nassib looking left, fires, has his man, and right through the hands of Alec Lemon. Now that is a catchable ball.
Yeah, and you got a wide receiver outside, and Alec Lemon, he's a freshman, but he's got to come back to the football on that curl route. We're going to look right through it as the defensive back. This ball's thrown right on time. That's an easy adjustment going inside. The ball may have looked high and inside, but Lemon's got to be active enough to get his hands up and attack that football and be able to convert that third down.
Rob Long back inside his 40-yard line. Brandon Hogan, number 22, the deep man for West Virginia, standing on his 10. Hogan already with a 50-yard return here this afternoon. Hogan gets away from this one. It's going to land inside the 10, and it just stops. And Syracuse will down at about the 2-yard line. Let's go downstairs and check in with Quinn.
Mike, that was the Syracuse offense on that last series, operating without their starting center, starting left tackle, 2 tight ends, and a new quarterback. And you think back to this offseason, the transition from Greg Robinson to Doug Marrone, about a dozen players left the program. That's kind of natural, but a challenge here at Syracuse is going to be building depth, building quality depth, especially considering the walk-on program here. School at Syracuse costs $52,000. Very difficult for Syracuse to bring quality walk-ons onto campus and have them pay that tuition. Conversely, West Virginia, in-state tuition's only $8,000. They've gotten great rewards out of their walk-on program.
$52,000, Quinn, and Doug Marrone had 4 or 5 players leave, guys that would have played, including 2 kickers. A 45-yard punt puts it back at the 2-yard line. And West Virginia looking for some breathing room now. Up 27-0. The clock running here in the third quarter, 11:26. Last year, the Mountaineers winning at 17-6 thanks to a 92-yard late fourth quarter touchdown run by Noel Devine.
Yeah, it looked like a lot like that zone play we talked about at halftime where they get the body on a body, and Noel Devine has a 2-way go. He took off and made Bill Stewart and those Mountaineer fans very happy last year.
It came on a 3rd and 7. Right now, a little more breathing room, up 27-zip. Brown throwing from his end zone, throws and bobbled to Ryan Clark, who had just fumbled the football the last possession, bobbles it up. Let's take a look at Noel Devine last year, flashback.
Yeah, just a little zone play to the left side. He bounces it outside, then one quick cut north and south, and Noel Devine is gone. I mean, this guy can turn the game around with one play, and that play really defined the entire.
Well, John, West Virginia, I mentioned 55% on third down, just 2 for 6 in this situation. 3rd and 9, deep in their territory. Devine cuts it back, hits a wall, had to get to about the 12-yard line. Just got over the 10, gaining 7 on the play. And Kozlowski, a one-time highly recruited punter, will get a chance to punt deep in his territory.
And Mike, that was a defensive stand that was much needed by this Orange defense. They want to come back and get another opportunity at getting great field position and try to cut into this 27-0 lead.
See Doug Hogue, number 32, the former running back. Philip Thomas, a true freshman out of Miami, also in on the stop. Thomas making the initial contact. So here's Kozlowski now, number 37. Punting from his end zone. Dante Davis, number 7, standing at about the 42. Davis takes it right at the 50-yard line. So Syracuse down 27-0 after the 40-yard punt. Dante Davis with a fair catch right at the 50. We're back. That's where Syracuse will start after this. 27-0 the last time Syracuse was shut out at home back in 2005 to South Florida, 27-0.
Yeah, and the problem started early for Syracuse on offense. The interception by Greg Paulus early. Field position wasn't so great. An incompletion coming out of the own end, and then Ryan Nassib comes in. He gets a drop pass down the middle, and then another one goes through the hands of would-be wide receiver Alec Lemon, and that led to some disgust on the Syracuse sideline. So now Paulus on the sideline. The sophomore Ryan Nassib in the football game, and the Orange start 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line.
Nassib looks like he has some zip on the ball. A lot of people thought he would be the starting quarterback until Paulus won that job 8 days into camp. A razzle-dazzle play action. Nassib going right down the middle. And this one, touchdown! Syracuse, exactly what you said they should do during the commercial break.
They got to come back out and get it to their playmaker. And if it's an end around, if it's a fake reverse, you got to do something to get the ball in the hands of Mike Williams. And that's a great play call by Rob Spence, their offensive coordinator. Good play action fake on the inside by Carter. Nice setup in the backfield by Nazib. And then a direct strike down the middle of the field to the playmaking Mike Williams for 6.
Williams with his 20th career receiving touchdown. That ties Marvin Harrison for second. Ryan Lichtenstein with the PAT. And wait a minute.
Offense number 75, 5-yard penalty, retry.
And the penalty is going to go against Syracuse, so they'll have to retry it. I'm going to say Marvin Harrison and Mike Williams now with 20 receiving touchdowns. Rob Moore, remember that name? Rob Moore had 22.
Absolutely.
He's on top of the list with 22. Mike Williams, 1 catch, all in the first half. During the commercial break, John Conjemi said they should just throw it down the middle. See if Mike Williams can go up and get it. Great job by Nassib, too, at the play action. Lichtenstein misses this one. So the penalty hurts the young freshman kicker. He shakes his head, so both teams now missing a PAT here this afternoon. And it leaves the score 27-6. With 9:52 to go. Once again, Williams down the middle.
It's going to be a double move. It's going to be in, back out, and then to the post. Just a nice job of setting up the play action. Watch the reverse. You're going to fake inside to Carter first. The inside move to the outside, and then back to the inside. Goes Williams for the score. Just a great job of play action pass by Ryan Nazib, and then Mike Williams setting up that safety on the hash, got him going outside. He goes inside for 6.
Boy, Sidney Glover was like he was standing flat-footed. He just blew past him.
Well, sometimes those West Virginia defensive backs gets their eyes and head in that backfield a little too long, and you can't do that when you've got a guy that can really complete the play on the outside like Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, the senior, 124 yards a game now with 20 touchdowns on the year. That's his 6th on the year. What were the coaches telling us last week how he improved his 40 time when he came back? He sat out last year, of course. He went from like a 4.6 to a 4.44.
Yeah, and he has the ability to change the complexion of a game. He only had 1 catch in the first half for 5 yards. Now he has 1 in the second half for 50 yards. So, the coaches said he did a great job of working to get himself ready to play this season.
Rob Long with the kick. And it's taken by Mark Rogers. Rogers up over the 25, dropped at about the 28-29-yard line. Return of 17. Don't forget, coming up next week, noon Eastern here on the Big East Network game of the week, the Louisville Cardinals head for Hartford to take on the Huskies of UConn. And the Huskies with their Big East opener at Pittsburgh at 3:30 this afternoon. It's all coming your way on the Big East Network, noon Eastern, Saturday, October 16th. Rentschler Field, Hartford, Connecticut. (27-6). Now Jarrett Brown goes back to work. Max Suter just lost his shoe, so he'll come up and to try to catch Devine with one shoe, but Devine cuts back to the other side, and he was wrestled down shy of the line of scrimmage. Damon Merkerson making the shot. So you look at the Big East by the numbers. Look at 23-7 non-conference. 6 of 8 teams unbeaten or just 1 loss. And you spread the wealth, 3 different champions the last 3 years. What was it, 6? At least a share of the title over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? Brown comes out firing, and the ball is dropped by the young freshman Tavon Austin. He is fast, and he knew he had some green in front of him.
Boy, he sure did. That head turned around. He was going to try to go up that West Virginia sideline, but he forgot one important thing. That football hit him right in the gut and dropped to the turf, and now Ernie Davis Legends Field in this Carrier Dome starting to get a little bit back into it. The defense doing a good job last series. Offense scores. Now they're going to try to stop Jared Brown on 3rd down.
Yeah, the crowd with a standing ovation now on 3rd and 11. As Big Mole starting to shift to Syracuse, even though the hole is deep. 27-6 they trail. Brown. Ulrich Arnett, 2 drop passes now for West Virginia. And Bill Stewart will be on that sideline saying, come on guys, keep your focus. There's a lot of football to be played.
You can't fault that young man. He put 2 balls right on the money, and Bill Stewart now coaching that punt team to come out and say, hey guys, let's get it off. Nothing stupid. Let's make them earn it. So that's 2 drops, 2 big drops, and Brown did a nice job of distributing the football outside. And his coaches are telling him, nothing you can do. You can't throw it in, catch it.
Scott Kozlowski be punting from about the 15. Dante Davis back at his own 30-yard line. 9 minutes, 8 quarter. Syracuse trying to mount a comeback. It's a boomer. Dante Davis all the way back to about the 21-yard line. Penalty flag down. Dante Davis cuts it back in. Still on his feet at the 50, but again, 3 penalty flags. Back between the 20 and 30-yard line. 52-yard punt, 32-yard return. We'll wait for the call. Usually not good for Syracuse, the return team.
Block in the back. Number 6, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Number 6 is Damone Murkison, the former wide receiver, now playing defensive back. Tough call for Syracuse as Dante Davis returns at 32 yards. There's the play right there. Number 6 with the infraction will return to the Dome with more after this. West Virginia watching Syracuse mount somewhat of a comeback on a 50-yard strike, but now they have the ball 82 yards away.
Well, you know, he's preaching on that sideline, especially to his defense. Keep us in the game. We've got a comfortable lead. Let's not let it get back to a football game right now. 27-6 with 8:53 left to go in this 3rd quarter. This defense now has to play tough.
Today's 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Overstock.com. Ryan Nassib, the sophomore out of Westchester, Pennsylvania, taking over the quarterback duties here for Syracuse in the 2nd half. Mike Owen in front of DeLon Carter. Carter with the football. And he gets up over the line of scrimmage, a gain of 2. Well, make it 1. But less than I thought. Julian Miller making the stop for West Virginia.
I thought this West Virginia front 3, they've done a nice job, and those linebackers run from sideline to sideline. So they've done a good job of winning that battle at the line of scrimmage.
Play action, Nassib. He's got some wheels too. And he's going to move the chains for the 1st down. Nice play by Ryan Nassib, a gain of 10 on the scamper before Josh Taylor made the stop 10 yards downfield.
Mike, the thing you like about that play, there was no hesitation. He may have had the football, he could have fit it into the flat, could have hit it on a crossing route, but he tucked the football down. He knew he could get enough to move the chains for a 1st down, so he said, I'm going to do it by myself. Now, what he'd like to see now on 1st down, if you get single coverage on the top of the screen to Mike Williams, you can throw a quick stop route to the outside and get a 5, maybe miss a tackle, get 10 yards.
Nassib on the quarterback draw out of the shotgun. Nassib goes 6'3", 215 pounds, so he's built a lot. Like Jared Brown on the other side. Brown's a little bit taller, a little bit heavier.
Very similar arm strength, it looks like, too, from the couple of passes we've seen Ryan throw. Looks a lot like he can throw the football down the football field and from one hash to the sideline.
You mentioned he's got a gun. Tight spiral, good velocity, and again, everybody thought that he would be the starting quarterback this year until Greg Paulus arrived on the scene. Even then, people thought Paulus would provide great leadership from the sidelines. Nassib goes upstairs, looking for number 1 and has him. Mike Williams just simply out-jumped the defender. It's going to be ruled incomplete, but what an effort by Mike Williams.
Mike Williams trying to run a slant and go or a slant and up on the single receiver side. The only problem is they ran out of real estate to the short side of the field. You're going to see the pump fake by Ryan Nassib there. The quick pump fake, and then he gets hit just as he releases the ball, and I think it takes the football a little bit more towards the sideline. And Mike Williams, you can see his athleticism and his leaping ability. Comes in, tries to get that foot down, but he came down out of bounds.
Williams goes 6'2", but you're right, the leaping ability. He plays like he's 6'5". 3rd and 7 now for Nassib. Swings it out in the flat. Antoine Bailey, good defensive play by Sidney Glover. Bailey thought he had some more running room, but Glover, the junior out of Warren, Ohio, making the stop. They just picked up one on the play.
Boy, good open field tackle, and Jeff Castile, their defensive coordinator, knows how important it is to tackle when in space, and that's exactly what Sidney Glover did, the junior.
So Big Mo takes a break for the time being for Syracuse, and West Virginia will get the football back with 6:28 and counting here in the third quarter. Rob Long just over his 20-yard line. Jock Sanders inside his 30. And Sanders up over the 35, dropped at about the 38-yard line. 38-yard punt, 9-yard return. Now celebrating its 5th year sponsoring the Good Hands field goal nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed more than $1.8 million in scholarship monies. Inside the Carrier Dome, now known as Ernie Davis Legends Field at the Carrier Dome. John Kangemi, Mike Gleason, Quinn Kesnick, Big East opener for West Virginia, and boy, they look good in the first half. Up 27-6 with 6:15 to go in the third quarter. Out of the I formation this time. That's Clark leading the way, and there's a penalty flag, some movement.
Number 54, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It goes against Don Barclay, the left tackle, sophomore out of Cranberry, Pennsylvania.
You can see, Mike, how West Virginia has cooled off a little bit. Their first 4 drives of this football game ending up in touchdowns. In the last 5, they've had a turnover and haven't been able to score any points. So tide turning a little bit in this third quarter.
That turnover was a fumble after a reception by Ryan Clark, a redshirt freshman from Maryland. First and 15 now after the penalty for West Virginia. Jared Brown, good coverage, and he finally swings it out to Starks, but he overshoots him. And Damon Merkerson, well, he had his sight set on that ball. If he had his paws on it, it would have been a pick 6.
You can see what happens sometimes when you have self-inflicted wounds, and that's what West Virginia is going through right now. Back on that last series, 2 drop passes would have been easy first down opportunities. They have to punt the football back, and now you get a little bit lethargic offensively. You don't get it going, and you end up jumping offside. You're in second and long.
Well, Noel Devine told Coach Stewart last week, when things get tough, just give me the rock, Coach.
That's true. He may get it right here.
Second and 15. And they give it to number 7, and he's going down. Big number 99, Chandler Jones, the younger brother of Arthur Jones, makes the tackle in the backfield.
Yeah, we had a chance to talk to big brother Arthur Jones yesterday, and he said little brother's doing pretty good. He likes what he sees out of him, and he says once he gets a couple more pounds on him, he's going to be tough to contain.
Little brother said when big brother signs that NFL contract, he wants a car. That's exactly what he said. Third and 16. Twin receivers to the top of your screen. Tavon Austin spins just over the 35. Another punting situation coming up now for the Mounties. Philip Thomas, the true freshman from Miami, in on the tackle again.
Well, the Syracuse Orange now are starting to play a little bit like we saw last week at home against South Florida. They were in that football game. They were very competitive, and they let this football game get away from them early in the first half. But now, Doug Marone's side of the ball, defense and offense, they're starting to play a little bit more intensity.
And Doug Marone said he got tired of talking about the turnovers last week, and now if they don't come back and win this game, he's got to think about the fact that the tale of 2 different halves. A poor first half, and now they've picked up some steam here in the second half. Except the clock is running at 4:38. Kozlowski almost blocked by the Qs. Dante Davis with a fair catch at the 24. 40-yard punt by Kozlowski. We'll keep it right here inside the dome. Take a look at that West Virginia sideline. They opened up a 27-0 lead. They come in averaging 33 points a game. And again, you go back to turnovers for them, 10 in their last 2 games. And you can't play the game of would have, could have, should have, but they probably would have beat Even Gene Chizik, the head coach at Auburn, said, you know what, without all those turnovers, West Virginia probably comes in and beats us. So they could be undefeated as their Big East opener. Right now, Ryan Nassib, the sophomore quarterback, trying to get something going for Syracuse. Nassib. Oh, he just put too much steam on that one.
I think Ryan was across the line of scrimmage too, so it was even closer than that.
Well, the penalty flag is down, and DeLon Carter, as the ball whipped by his head, he just kind of turned around and looked at Nassib like, what was that?
And that's one thing you'll get when you gain experience at that quarterback position. You have a sixth sense of knowing where that line of scrimmage is. That time he was about 3 or 4 yards down the field.
Number 12, 5-yard penalty from the spot of throw. Loss of down, second down.
Jeff McConaughey, the referee out of the Big East officiating crew here today. And watch this now.
Right now you go, well, I got everything. He said, I feel uncomfortable. I think I'm a little too far down the field. And you just kind of get rid of the football. But you can see the yardstick right around the 35-yard line, and Ryan was a couple yards past it.
Not only knowing the line of scrimmages, but knowing to take a little bit off the pass.
Yeah.
Too. 2nd and 14 now for the Cuse. Here comes Lazier. Blitzing from the outside, fire over the middle, and Nate Sowers, the former quarterback, almost had the INT. The intended receiver was Marcus Sales.
Boy, nice job defensively by Nate Sowers. You said one of those safeties coming down had perfect coverage on the inside. Ryan tried to fit that football in to a tight window, and Sowers gets that big right hand in on it. Take a look, coming right at you. Sowers just undercuts that route. Just a terrific break on the football in front of Marcus Sales, the would-be wide receiver.
Sowers threw for 113 touchdowns in high school, now playing safety. He's thrown a pass, caught a pass, intercepted a pass, and right now Nassib will try to complete a pass. And he should have, but Dante Davis had the first down at the 40-yard line and dropped the football. That is a shame. I mean, nobody tries to do that, but his head, as you take us through this play, watch his head as soon as his fingers touch the ball.
Boy, and this is a perfectly thrown ball. Good job of stepping up inside the pocket. He gets everything on it, and that you couldn't time it up any better. All you have to do is catch it and fall down, and you have a first down. So maybe a case of trying to do too much with it. Knowing you're past the first down marker, just catch it.
That was a 3rd and 14. 3 drop passes now off the hands of Nassib. So Rob Long comes in, the punt. High punt, and a fair catch called by Hogan at the 40-yard line. Well, our Twitter question of the week right now is, what does West Virginia have to do, John, to gain national respect from bowl voters?
Well, I think they just have to keep winning right now. They haven't gotten into the Big East schedule. You know, they dropped one on the road to Auburn. I think that would have done a lot for the Mountaineers, you know, nationally, because that's a team that, you know, from the SEC, from the conference that everybody considers to be the strongest conference in the country, and you win that game, you're undefeated now. You're probably in the top 25 easily.
Yeah, very good points. Big East football fans, you can follow Quint and our Big East Network crew on Twitter. Jock Sanders is Russell out of bounds at twitter.com/Big East Network. So it's at twitter.com/Big East Network. Football, everything else Big East with us, and all of your fellow fans.
Wouldn't be surprised if West Virginia tries to create a big play down the field. They've been throwing a lot in the flats, a lot of screen passes, a lot of things on the perimeter. They haven't challenged Syracuse down the field. Be waiting for one of those pump fake and goes to the outside.
2nd and 7 now for Jared Brown out of the shotgun. Boy, it just won't go down. Fires has his man. It's Starks. Starks at the 30-yard line. Wow, Jared Brown, somebody got his hands on him, and Jared Brown is just so strong, he simply stepped up and completed 1 for 27.
Mike, you called it perfectly. Jared Brown is just too strong for an arm tackle. You're going to see the pocket is pressured down the middle, and it looked like 99 was in there. Chandler Jones just cannot corral the big quarterback, and he finds an open wide receiver down the middle in Starks, and that's really a big play by your big-time quarterback.
And now they're going to work from the I formation. Noel Devine said this is his favorite formation to work from. He said all that spread stuff, you run east-west and you look for an opening here, you can kind of see things open up right in front of you. Here's Devine with the pitch. Boy, he just takes off. He's got that 5th gear. Picks up a big gainer. We're inside the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. Now Ernie Davis Legends Field at the Carrier Dome, along with John Congemi, the former Pitt quarterback. Quinn Kesnick, the 4-time All-American lacrosse player. I'm Mike Gleason. Great to have you with us as West Virginia opens up the Big East season right now on top 27-6 and right now on the move. We go back to that Twitter question about what these Mountaineers have to do to gain some national respect. There's Noel Devine hits the right side and fumbled the football. It's recovered by West Virginia. Boy, a great job of Jock Sanders seeing that ball lay on the carpet, and he jumped on it. I was just going to say, going back to the Twitter question, though, that these Mountaineers have been ranked in the top 8 the last 3 seasons.
And deservedly so. They've played that way, and I think they'll get there again this year. They're quite competent on both sides of the football field, and I think they have a quarterback that carries them over the top.
You know, not having any Big East teams in the preseason poll, that was a joke. But West Virginia won their bowl game, finished 9-4. Why don't you think they were ranked in the preseason?
I really don't know. Maybe the question at quarterback, Jared Brown's been there for a while, but he hasn't played.
Noel Devine hop, skips, and jumps inside the 15-yard line, and we go back downstairs with Quinn.
Mike, ball security has been the real issue for West Virginia this year. If you look at all their offensive numbers, they're terrific, except they're 118th in the nation in turnover margin. Coming into this game, you had 14 fumbles in 4 games. There you saw it kind of rear its head right now. You got a lot of little running backs, and ball security seems to be an issue for West Virginia.
Yeah, they're -8, which ranks very, very low. As a matter of fact, I think it's -8 is the bottom of the heap as far as the Big East Conference right now. That's Bradley Starks in motion to the top of your screen. Devine riding that wave, turns the corner, and he's popped. Popped out of bounds. Kevin Scott, the junior cornerback, comes up and lays the wood.
Driven out of bounds by Kevin Scott of Syracuse.
You know, John Kettering brought up a great point, our producer. He said both schools, you look at the long history of the school, today both schools have 675 all-time wins. What are the odds of that, huh?
It's amazing. I mean, 2 great universities with storied traditions, and now, getting to play here today in the first Big East matchup for West Virginia.
Clark has 2 rushing touchdowns. This is Clark, and he's wrestled down by number 32, Doug Hogue, the junior linebacker from Yonkers.
Doug Hogue making the defensive tackle.
2 of 9 on 3rd downs now for West Virginia.
Andrew Lewis getting up very slowly for the Orange. Looks like he may come out of the football game along with Arthur Jones. But the Mountaineers again knocking on the door with under 30 seconds left to go in this 3rd quarter.
And a 1st and goal.
You got the big matchup on the left side, top of your screen.
Devine goes to the right, tries to cut back in, and he's wrestled down just inside the 5-yard line. Max Suter, the safety, coming up to make the stop for Syracuse.
45 minutes into
At the end of the 3rd quarter, timeout.
And that's going to be the final play of the 3rd quarter here from the Carrier Dome. But the Mountaineers are knocking on the door when we come back, up 27-6. Final 15 minutes coming up right after this. Ernie Davis, number 44. Here in Syracuse, they officially named the field Ernie Davis Legends Field here this afternoon. One of 11 players to wear that famed number 44. Jim Brown was on hand for the halftime festivities, along with Martin Luther King III. Very moving halftime. As West Virginia lines up now, 2nd and goal at the 4, up 27-6. Out of the I formation, Devine hops, skips, and a jump. Looks West Virginia.
He's unbelievable. He made about 5 cuts behind the offensive line before he started going north and south, and nobody could see him wearing a blue jersey. Just an incredible short run for the touchdown by Noel Devine. He only goes 4 yards, but he's bobbing and weaving in and out of those big guys in the white jerseys. Eric Jobe was kind of forming a human shield for Noel Devine to walk into the end zone.
Devine 7.4 yards a carry this year. Russ DeLynn, our stats guy, just said that Ernie Davis, his high was 7.8, so that's pretty good territory as Ryan Bittenkurt comes on to drill the extra point. And now with 14:55 to go, it's 34-6. Another look, John.
Well, just a great job behind the line of scrimmage of being able to be so elusive and so mobile, and being able to still get that gap and go shoot himself north and south and propel him into the end zone. And the Mountaineers today, 4 rushing touchdowns by 3 different players. So they've done a nice job of spreading the wealth on the ground, and Jared Brown has run this offense very efficiently.
60 yards in 9 plays, using up 4 minutes and 15 seconds off the clock. Noel Devine getting his 7th rushing touchdown and his first receiving touchdown here this afternoon at the Dome. That first receiving touchdown of his career, not just the 2009 season. So West Virginia averaging 33. They have 34 on the board with almost 15 minutes to play.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. The Mountaineer faithful have come down to watch in the Carrier Dome today. Jared Brown do a great job, and the Mountaineers, you can see their record when scoring 30 points or more. Just do a great job of closing out games when they're ahead of would-be opponents. And today, 34-6 right now on top of the Orange, just starting the 4th quarter.
We saw Jared Brown there, 9 different receivers. Talk about spreading the wealth here today.
He's done a terrific job. 21 of 29 for 242 and 1 touchdown. You touch on it, 9 different receivers, Mike.
Josh Leiter's kick. Mike Jones at the 7-yard line. Jones up over the 25, stopped shy of the 30. And West Virginia said doing a lot better job on their kick coverage than they were last year. Number 32, that's Ryan Clark making the stop on the special teams. 40,144 in attendance at the Dome, at least when this football game started today. They've been averaging about 41,005 on the year.
And sophomore quarterback Ryan Nassib will bring the Orange out, try to get some more points on the board. And you talked about the special teams for West Virginia. You know who's coaching that kickoff cover team, don't you? The head man. That's why they've gotten a lot better. Bill Stewart takes credit for that, and he's happy they're doing much better on that coverage team.
And he took the blame last year.
That's right.
To his credit. Nassib fires. Williams caught at the 50. He's in West Virginia territory, and Nassib, I'll tell you, Hollis has done a lot of amazing things in his first year, but I like the way this young man plays here.
Well, he throws the football with authority, and this is a smash route. That means a corner route by the inside receiver, which is Mike Williams, and the outside receiver is just going to run a 5-yard stop. And you try to create a high-low on that cornerback. This is one of the plays that Doug Marrone said they were going to put in for today's game, and they finally get to it late in the game. They tried it earlier, but didn't get a completion.
Nassib out of the gun with DeLon Carter. Gain of 23 on the last pass play. Oh, fake, and then Carter gets it, gets over the line of scrimmage, maybe 1, and he's wrestled down at the line of scrimmage by number 99, George Wright, the redshirt freshman from Miami.
Second down and 9 from the 47-yard line.
Nassib, 2nd and 9, looking left, checking things off. Good coverage by West Virginia. Finally fires it. And it's incomplete. Out of bounds, Mike Williams, the intended receiver, at about the 36-yard line.
Showing good mobility out of that pocket. Didn't feel comfortable what he was looking at and tried to go and roll to Mike Williams' side. They just ran out of room on the Syracuse sideline, but a good job of trying to make a big play or a better play out of something he didn't like. So it'll bring up a 3rd down now and 9, and Syracuse 0 for 9 on 3rd downs today.
0 for 9, 30% on the year. Well, last week against USF, they opened up the game at 20% from 3rd down. Nassib, some time, moves left out of the pocket, looking deep, and DeLon Carter, complete inside the 5-yard line. It's incomplete. Incomplete. Oh, I thought he had plenty of real estate. But he came down. Did he drop the ball, or was he out of bounds? It looked like
I think he dropped the football. That was a good job again by Ryan Nassib of rolling now to the wide side, finding a receiver downfield, and it was Carter all by himself. He's backtracking. It looks like the ball just got right through, slipped right through his hands. He tried to keep himself in bounds, and as he was cradling that football, it looked like Kent Richardson was the guy for the Mountaineers coming from the secondary and knocks it loose, but it was more of a drop than Richardson hit.
Yeah. Operative word is drop, because that's 4 drop balls on Ryan Nassib. There's Long with a high spiral kick. Brandon Hogan's going to let this one hit at the 5-yard line, and it takes a Syracuse bounce. And Marinovich downs it at the 5, a 42-yard punt. And now West Virginia 95 yards away. We're going to come back for the final 13-24 after this. Back in Syracuse, new quarterback for West Virginia, Geno Smith, the true freshman. Today's First and 10 line is brought to you by Overstock.com. So Syracuse goes from 1-2, and now after a big outing by Jared Brown, the Mountaineers are going with the young freshman. And he starts a conspicuous situation 95 yards away. And the handoff is to Noel Devine. You know, it's funny, John, you go way back to the 2005 season. They've been averaging 3 rushing touchdowns a game, and they've got 3 here today. But now Eugene Smith, you see from Miramar, and they say, boy, this guy can make all the passes.
He does. He comes from my neck of the woods down in that Fort Lauderdale area in Miramar High School, and he's had a great high school career, and he's coming up with big expectations possibly next year to take over the reins at West Virginia.
So you can hit the long pass, the short pass, lay it in. It's a misdirection play, and they keep it on the ground. And the give is to number 34, Sean Alston. 6 foot, 218 pound, another freshman. (34-6), West Virginia on top. Won 7 straight in the series. Last year beating Syracuse 17-6 in Morgantown. Mountaineers 45-10 over the last 55 games, and again still not in the top 25 after starting the season out in the top 8 the last 3 years. Again, they keep it on the ground, and there's still some popping of the pads out there. Alston with the carry once again.
Boy, nice hit as well by Doug Hogue coming up from that linebacker spot.
True freshman from Hampton, Virginia. First team All-State, as so many of these players are once they arrive at some of these big-time schools. Kozlowski will get back to punt, and Dante Davis standing at about his 37, 38-yard line for Syracuse with 11.5 minutes to go.
Syracuse came after the last punt attempt, and they didn't cover the gunners on the outside. Let's see what they do this time.
Nice punt by Kozlowski. Dante Davis calling for the fair catch at about the 35-yard line. Will be spotted at about the 34. 51-yard punt. Now, John, let's take a look at our Polaris ORV hardest working player of the game.
Well, Jared Brown was definitely working hard from start to finish. He did a great job of moving himself around the pocket and being elusive, and then throwing that touch pass when he needed to down the sideline to Will Johnson there. But his strength at the quarterback spot, both running and throwing the football, he was tough to bring down, and he kept plays alive, and that's why he's the Polaris hardest working player of the game. Jared Brown, 22 of 30 on the day. Just a terrific afternoon.
For 244 yards, his big game this year, 334. That was the most since Mark Bulger at 346 against Miami back in 1999. Ryan Nassib now trying to get something going for Syracuse. Using his legs, and he's up close to the first down, about a yard shy, a gain of 8 on the play, 2 yards shy. Now, what did you throw for 446 one game?
Yeah, that was in college that was the highest yardage I've thrown for, and that was a easy afternoon because I had a lot of guys that caught it and ran for a long way.
Who was your top receiver that day?
You know what? Boy, it might have been Bill Osborne. I'm going to give him the credit because he's probably listening.
446. That's a pretty good afternoon. Massive play action. Here comes JT and blitz Owens with his third catch of the afternoon. Moves the chains for a first down. Mike was telling us yesterday, give me the ball, I can catch the football.
He can. He must have taken that advice he was giving us and talked to the quarterback.
Well, I told him as he left the room, I said, hey, Mike, how about 6 catches tomorrow? Of course, Doug Marrone without 2 of his tight ends. Cody Catalina, Nick Provo, both out. They moved Dalton Phillips, a long snapper to tight end. There's Mike Williams for another catch. 13 catches for Williams last week. He just had 1 in the first 30 minutes here this afternoon, but he's come to life.
And this is a good opportunity for Ryan Nassib to get a little bit more pace in his offense because they're down 34-6, so they're going to get it to the line of scrimmage, get the play called early, and try to run as many plays as they possibly can.
Orange with 4 drop balls. If Ryan's parents are listening in Pennsylvania, they should be proud, feeling the pressure, and still completes this one. Marcus Sales on the receiving end. I'm surprised he got that one off. Looked like someone was hanging on his arm.
Yeah, he showed some strength in the pocket that time, just stepping up inside of the pass rush of Julian Miller. Julian Miller is going to come from the outside. You're going to see him just get his arm in the football, but he showed great presence in the pocket and strength to hold on and keep his eyes down the field to complete that pass.
And Julian Miller, 7 career sacks already, just a redshirt sophomore. That's Dante Davis. Moving to the top of your screen, number 7. Here's another pump fake. Nassib over the middle, looking for Lemon, overshoots him that time. Let's go back downstairs with Quinn.
Mike, I don't know if it can be underestimated what Ryan Nassib's kind of dealt with in terms of the Greg Paulus phenomenon. You know, local hero, comes from Duke, all the media attention that Paulus has generated. And meanwhile, here's a young quarterback who's just kind of had to follow Paulus and behind the scenes working on his game, trying to improve, trying to not let that situation impact him. And finally, he gets a chance today and proving that he is a pretty good little quarterback.
That's a great point. Pass interference that time against West Virginia. Van Chu, the intended receiver. That's a great point because Quint brings up. I was thinking about that earlier, John. I wasn't sure if I should bring it up, but you stick to your guns. You know, like Paulus comes in and everybody thought
defense, number 22, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Everybody thought Nassib would be the starter, then Paulus wins the job, and Nassib's got to be thinking, wow, I mean, the point guard at Duke wins the job, great national story. If he has any success, I'll never see the field.
Yeah, but you're only a play away. No matter how you look at it, you have to prepare like you're going to play each week and each day when you go to practice, and I'm sure that's what Ryan has done to get himself in this position.
Nassib over the middle, Sales, touchdown, Syracuse. Marcus Sales, his second. This one goes for 24 yards.
That was a rope down the middle of the field. That ball was driven, and it was thrown caught, meaning he had no choice but to catch that football. Did Sales going down the middle. A terrific strike by Ryan Nassib. Watch him set his back foot and step into this football, and it is on a line right past J.T. Thomas. There's no good defense for a well-thrown football, and that one was well thrown.
120 yards passing now for Nassib, 7 of 15 with 4 drops, and here's Ryan Lichtenstein. Kick is up, and it's good. 9:08 to go. It's 34-13 now. As Nassib fires his second touchdown of the afternoon, the sophomore from Pennsylvania, John Kangemi. Is there a quarterback controversy in Syracuse?
Maybe.
Today's Big East Network Game of the Week has been brought to you by PNC, leading the way. Champion, it's how you play. All states, you're in good hands. Liberty Mutual Insurance, responsibility, what's your policy? And by the 76 Classic Thanksgiving weekend in Anaheim, California. For tickets and travel, visit 76classic.com. Welcome back to the Big East Network Game of the Week, presented by PNC. 9 minutes, 8 seconds to go, 34-13, West Virginia on top, but Syracuse showing some life here in the second 30 minutes after a rough first half for the Orange. On a day they officially naming the field Ernie Davis Legends Field. John Kangemi, Mike Gleason, along with Quinn Kesnick downstairs. Great to have you with us as Rob Long gets ready to kick off again to Mark Rogers and Tavon Austin, the young freshman, the deep backs for West Virginia. Rogers at the 1-yard line. Rogers hits a wave of blue jerseys at about the 15. Could be spotted forward progress at about the 16-yard line. Let's go back and take a look at Ryan Nassib's touchdown.
Just a nice throw down the middle. You're going to see him drop back and stick into the ground and throw a strike right past J.T. Thomas. And this ball, there's no defense for a great ball thrown down the middle on time and on target. And that was just a terrific shot down the middle. 147 total yards and 2 touchdowns. And the rest of the team only with 80 yards. So he's done a nice job coming off the bench. He's had 4 or 5 drops in the game as well. So, you know, those stats could be even more padded going in his favor.
Yeah, 4 drops and 3 of the 4 definitely catchable balls. Noel Devine gets the call. He's got some running room. And he spins, dropped over the 30-yard line. First down, West Virginia. Now watching him run, gain of 14, John.
He does such a great job. It doesn't matter if he goes right, left, down the middle. His speed is what kills you. And in that first couple steps, he's at full speed right away. So his acceleration to the outside and being able to stop and twist and turn, it gets him a couple more yards on every carry. And you can see he wanted to go farther on that run.
Another first down, chews up the clock, 8:28 to go now. Young freshman Geno Smith at quarterback for West Virginia. Movement
False
up
start,
front.
offense, number 59, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Matt Timmerman, a redshirt junior from Little Falls, New Jersey. Some premature movement. We're inside the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, the Big East opener for West Virginia as they take on the Orange. Along with John Kangemi, Quinn Kesnick, I'm Mike Gleason. Great to have you with us for the Big East Network Game of the Week. Bill Stewart, 3-1, trying to climb to 4-1 after a 9-4 finish last year. He said one of the most things he's proud about is West Virginia, the only school in the Big East that did not have any changeover in coaches. All the assistants came back. Geno Smith fires to Jock Sanders. Sanders stops, cuts on a dime, and he's dropped. Coming up, Mike Holmes from the safety spot to make the stop.
Charge timeout, Syracuse, 30-second timeout.
So Syracuse takes a timeout. They've got one left now with 7:49 to go. 34-13, so I've just been informed we're going to use up one more television timeout. We'll be back to the Dome right after this commercial message.
Papa John knows how to make a hungry crowd happy.
Papa's in the house.
Introducing Papa John's new Mega XL3 Pizza. XL because it's extra large with 10 huge slices. 3 because you get your choice of any 3 toppings, all for just $11.99. Order any Papa John's pizza and save $3 off Transformers on DVD and Blu-ray.
If you're like most, your retirement dreams have seen better days. But with nearly 130 years of financial experience, the principal knows a few ways to help perk things up. With our helpful
Smith, we're back at the Dome. Noel Devine still on his feet. You know, this young man has 7 runs of 50 yards or more. Max Suter finally brings him down.
Syracuse,
And Syracuse is going to take another timeout. And that's going to exhaust all their timeouts now with 7 minutes and 41 seconds to go. As Doug Marone looks on, you know, watch Devine make those cuts, John. I was just thinking, as good as he is, 135 yards a game. You know the old saying, you never appreciate something until it's gone. Ray Rice over 2,000. Donald Brown tops that, goes over 2,000. I mean, Noel Devine, as good as he is, he'd have to average about 163 yards a game just to get to 2,000 this year.
Yeah, and those guys that you mentioned, you know, from Connecticut, from Rutgers, they've done such a great job of carrying their teams over the past couple of seasons, and now they're gone, and guys trying to replace them, you know, they're doing a lot, but they set the standard. They set the bar very high.
And in Devine's defense, of course, Bill Stewart said it's going to be more balanced. They're going to pass the football more. And talk about balance, 209 yards rushing, 257 passing. Doesn't get much better than that as far as balancing. 7:41 to go. We're going to take another timeout here. When we come back, it's 34-13. West Virginia on the move. Back in the Dome, 7:41 to go. West Virginia facing a 3rd down and 5. Ball at the 38-yard line of the Mountaineers. Geno Smith, the young freshman, out of the shotgun. Fires, has his man, first down. And Will Johnson had the big 31-yard catch in the first half on the far sidelines, picks up 9 and moves the chains for West Virginia.
Nice job by the young cornerback, Geno Smith, getting that football, knowing right where he wants to go with it to the short side, and they move the chains on 3rd down. So Syracuse out of timeouts now, and that clock will run, and I would expect Smith to do a lot of handoff, give a lot of handoff opportunities to the running backs.
You know, it's funny, Jarrett Brown waiting in the wings of Pat White for so long, and now with this big lead, steps aside in the 4th quarter. It's good to see Geno Smith getting some reps. Jarrett Brown's thinking, come on, I don't want to come out the field so soon. Devine weaves his way through traffic, never did go down, gets pushed out of bounds inside the 50. with 7:01 to go. Let's go back downstairs with Quinn.
Mike, Geno Smith's got a bright future. Talking to Jeff Mullen before the game for West Virginia, thinks that Geno's going to put on weight, get stronger. But anyone working with Jeff Mullen right now, you got to think back to last year and Pat White's development from a perceived spread quarterback to an NFL quality quarterback. Working on his footwork, his accuracy, to the point where he's a second-round draft pick. And I think that Jared Brown is on that same progression right now, and Geno Smith is only a freshman, obviously.
Yeah, Quint, you look at that bowl game against North Carolina, it's almost like Pat White wasn't going to run the football. He was going to throw it to show those NFL scouts, and he had a big game. Jock Sanders up close to another first down for West Virginia. Max Suter in on the stop along with Damo and Murkison. I mean,
you're right, Mike. In that bowl game, they threw it a ton, and he had his running ability, and he did a lot for it. But they threw the football effectively, and that led him to the Miami Dolphins. And although he hasn't had many opportunities in the NFL to get on the field and throw the football, that gave him the opportunity to showcase his ability.
Geno Smith, true freshman, great All-American, 6'3", 195. Quinn talks about putting on weight. 195, what does he play at, 215 in a couple of years? Or?
Well, ideally, you'd like to see him up there because, he does have a big frame. He has a big arm. I've watched him play in high school, and just by watching him out here, handles himself well, knows where he wants to go with the football. So, 1 year of experience, watching a guy like Jared Brown play the position, he should be ready to take over next year.
And for West Virginia fans, I was only joking when I said, Jared Brown, I'm sure he's completely content over the sidelines. But really, when you think about it, he's done a lot of standing for 5 years. And now he's got to go back and stand again with this big lead here in the fourth quarter. Well, West Virginia fans have spent Thanksgiving weekend with Coach Huggins and the basketball Mountaineers at the 76 Classic in Anaheim, California. For tickets and travel, visit 76classic.com. Jared Brown, throwing for 244 yards. Geno Smith taking over here in the fourth quarter. 5:42 to go, 34-13. Big East opener for West Virginia. A win would push them to 4-1. Sean Alston inside the 40, another first down, and they continue to move the chains. Max Suter coming up to make the stop again. Suter, number 5 in the Big East with 7.6 tackles a game from a strong safety spot. Alston picks up 6 more.
You talked about earlier, Mike, about West Virginia gaining that national respect again and trying to get back into the top 25. I think they're about a game away from doing that. They're gonna move their record. For a one-loss team right now, they're 3-1, going to 4-1, and they play Marshall. And then they have another Big East clash coming up after the Marshall game with Connecticut. So they're on their way to inching up the top 25.
Mark Rogers getting a rare call. Rogers, the sophomore from Lawndale, California, came in with just 2 carries. And Jeff Mullen was saying, hey, he's a good football player, but when you have number 7, Noel Devine, in front of him, it's hard to get on the field as Jared Brown waited his turn behind Pat White. They won 56 of the last 69 regular season games, the Mountaineers have.
And it had a lot to do with that guy as well, Noel Devine. He's done a great job in the last couple years making explosive plays out of that running back spot for the Mountaineers.
Big East titles in 93, 03, 04, and 05. Second in 06, title in 07, and second in 08. Fouled way inside the 35-yard line. That's Ryan Clark with the call. Gain of 4 for Clark. Clark comes in at 250, 260, down to 228. That's a heck of a job. Losing a lot of weight. Wouldn't mind talking to him. I wouldn't mind dropping 10. I don't know how you drop 30, 40 pounds. Inside 4 minutes to play now as West Virginia milks the clock, and some of the backups getting a chance to show their stuff. It's interesting, too. You want Geno Smith to get the reps. Does Bill Stewart tell him not to throw because Stewart's such a classy guy? So let some of these running backs.
Yeah, you want to just eat the clock, and they've done a nice job of when they did throw the football. It was really the screens, a quick out route to give Geno an experience to throw the football, but yet not say, we're up 34-13. We're not trying to throw it down the football field. And they're just trying to make first downs and use that clock and run the football as much as they can.
So Bill Stewart trying to get his Mounties back on top.
Yeah, Bill Stewart's never going to get accused of having a little class because he has a lot of it.
Oh, he's got a ton of it. He's been accused of being too nice of a guy, and he said, you know what? I'm a street fighter. I've always been a street fighter, and don't feel sorry for me because my skin's thick as tree bark. Geno Smith comes up firing, and Max Suter, nice job with that left hand. Intended receiver was Tavon Austin. 2:42 to go as we take a look at our Liberty Mutual play of the game. We go back to the first quarter, and the Josh Taylor INT and Pat Lejeune return to the 11-yard line.
Yeah, just a great play defensively. You see the screen pass going back to the middle of the field. A lot of white jerseys involved there, and you get the interception by Josh Taylor, and then Lejeune gets the football, picks it up off the carpet, and goes down to the 11-yard line. And that was the Liberty Mutual play of the game that really started the Mountaineers on the scoreboard and gave them the momentum to now 34-13 lead.
Nassib going deep, looking for Mike Williams, and he's covered by Pat Miller. Pat Miller, the young true freshman. Look at West Virginia today, led 27-0 at halftime and 237 total yards by Brown. And 4 rushing touchdowns by 3 different players. Ryan Clark gets the first 2. Well, Devine has 1, his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. And now let's see what Ryan Nassib can do in the last 2 minutes and 36 seconds. He's got a couple of scoring strikes already today. Nassib dragged down from behind. Najee Good, the redshirt sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio, making the tackle for West Virginia. 2:24 and counting now for the Orange.
Surprise today, Mike. I thought the Orange would come play well early, and that one turnover early really was a downward spiral for them.
Nassib just got tripped up there, too many feet in the pocket. He stepped up nicely, and he stepped into a lot of traffic. He goes down. That'll bring up a 3rd and 7 with 2 minutes to go. Inside 2 minutes now.
Launch back to the 36-yard line. 4th down and 9.
So 4th down and 9, and they'll go for it. Nassib, obviously no sense in punting the football now, down 34-13. Nassib flush from the pocket, turns, he's hit, and the ball comes loose. He got hit hard by J.B. Logeman. So Mike Williams with 1 catch in the first half after 13 last week, and now we take a look at the good hands play of the day by Allstate.
Yeah, just a double move on the outside. Mike Williams was able to have 6 touchdowns on the season, 1 today, and that was the Allstate good hands play of the day. The only bright spot for Williams on the day was that big catch in the 3rd quarter.
And that gives him 20 for the season, or for his career rather, tied with Marvin Harrison for the 2nd spot. On the day, 4 catches for 89 yards after pulling in 13 balls last week, 11 against Northwestern for 209 yards and a couple of touchdowns a few weeks ago. Geno Smith milking the clock now, 96 seconds to go before they put this in the books as a West Virginia victory.
You see all smiles on the Mountaineer sidelines, and led by Jared Brown. He knows how big of a game this was to come on the road in the Dome. Ernie Davis Legends Field was named today, and they come away with a victory. In their upcoming schedule, we talked about it a couple minutes ago. Marshall's next on the horizon next week on the 17th. Then they get back into the Big East Conference for 5 in a row, starting with UConn, and then they go at South Florida on October 30th, which would be a huge game. And if Cincinnati continues to roll and Pitt continues to roll, that's always the backyard brawl at the end of the season.
Mountaineers working out of the I formation. Sean Alston gets the call, picks up a couple, and just take a look at Syracuse now. Another home game coming up for the Orange with Akron, and another one with Cincinnati before finally going on the road at Pittsburgh November 7th.
Yeah, they've got some tough games back to back. They get Akron here and then Cincinnati and at Pittsburgh, which would be a very tough contest, and then at Louisville, and then ending the season against Rutgers and at Connecticut. And we'll have that game on the 28th.
Mountaineers coming in with 465 yards of total offense. They've outgained their opposition by 533 coming in. And there were too much to handle in the first half. Bill Stewart with too many weapons. As they notch their 4th victory, they go to 4-1. 385 yards, Syracuse with 222, but Ryan Nassib looking pretty good in the second half. Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, just an early turnover really turned the tide of this football game, and it was almost like Syracuse couldn't get over that hangover of all those turnovers last week. As soon as one hit, it went downhill fast, and they couldn't recover until, big into the third quarter. They had a little bit of a spurt, but too little, too late.
34-13, and let's go downstairs. Quint standing by with Bill Stewart.
Coach, what were your expectations prior to this ball game?
Well, I wanted to come in here and certainly try to get a win. This is a storied program. Doug certainly has this group going in the right direction. I knew it would be tough. People think it's a cakewalk. No, it's never when you come to the big dome, never.
Up 27-0. What was your reaction at halftime?
I wasn't real pleased. We had a punt return. I thought we'd score right at the half. We tripped on the turf, and so anyhow, all I did was challenge the guys to close the deal, and we did okay on that. We got to become a more mature football team and close the deal.
Yeah, what's the biggest challenge of playing with a lead like that?
Just doing that, closing the deal, Quinn, because it's so easy to just get complacent and lose your fire, and a great football team doesn't do that. We're not a great football team yet. Hopefully we're headed in that direction. I just want to get better every game. So we learned a lot today. Now we have to learn how to close the deal and just play a little bit harder.
Good news, turnover's not the storyline this week, Coach.
I tell you what, making me an old man quick. We need to still secure that ball, and we still need to get the ball out. We need to knock the ball out. And it was good to see that opening series there on for our defense.
Last one, how would you best characterize the play of your quarterback, Jarrett Brown, today?
I thought he managed the clock. I thought he showed great leadership. He was very, very sharp in his decisions. He makes plays when people try to, get him and blitz him. He'll step up in the pocket, run, make a play. And he's very, very lethal when he's running that football.
Coach, you got that Schwartzwalder trophy in the locker room, and it stays in Morgantown. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Quint.
Mike.
Thanks, Quint. 8 straight wins now for Syracuse for West Virginia. Bill Stewart, 8 years on the staff as an assistant under Don Nealon, and Rich Rodriguez now as the head coach in his second year. 9-4 last year, and now the Mountaineers go to 4-1 here in 2009. 34-13, and Jarrett Brown with a big, big ball game for West Virginia. He's standing by with Quint.
Jarrett, you walk out here today in the Carrier Dome. What was going through your mind pregame?
Well, we had to just stick to our plan. We come out to execute, bring a lot of intensity. On the road games, the guys tend not to have a lot of energy, so we got to get our energy going and just execute the game plan.
Did you add energy to the team? I mean, that was on your mind?
Well, try to add a little bit, get the guys a little bit of words of encouragement, but I can't get too emotional. I leave it up to the linebackers and the receivers.
How do you best characterize your accuracy today, your performance?
I did okay.
Just okay?
We didn't turn the ball over. That's the biggest part.
How much has Coach been harping on turnovers this year?
Oh, since Auburn game, that make you believe you can't turn the ball over. That's giving the other team the field position and taking points off the board.
Why were you so effective spreading the ball around to the different weapons today?
Well, we just took what the defense gave us. That's a spread offense. We got great playmakers all over the field. Take it with a run, we got to pass the ball.
Jared, thank you. Great game. Good luck against Marshall next week.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Quint. Jarrett Brown bringing up the turnovers. Of course, he said after that Auburn game, he watched the film 5 times in the next 2 days after he threw those 4 picks and fumbled once. 34-13, West Virginia with the victory. They're 1-0 now in the Big East Conference for 2009. 4-1 overall. Syracuse dropping to 2-4.